There we go. All right. Looks like can't tell if we're working or not here. I know my headset's not working. Hello. There we go. All right. I think we got it. It's your birthday. Right on. All right, guys. I think this is working. Rob, did you call in?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. No.
So I gotta hook this up, right?
Let's see. Talk to me for a minute.
Test. I gotta do it.
There we go. Good.
Oh.
All right. I'm gonna drop you. All right. We just made sure we're working, and I'm back. All right, guys. Hack Nation Live with your host Aaron. Like always. Today I have my buddy. Why are we echoing?
I'm still working on it because it's my phone, probably. Sorry.
Yeah, you can hang up now.
I'm not on though.
No, just hang up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because I don't know how you hook it up to this. It has nothing to do with your phone. Anyway, I got my buddy Rob Carr here. We've been friends for many, many years. He actually drove for me quite a few times on the Alaska Haul Road. Drove for my oldest brother up there as well. He's very familiar with haul road trucking. The TikToker, see Rob. Anyway, if you're watching this on TikTok, we highly encourage you to go over to Facebook or YouTube. You can hear the caller over there. The number to call in is 573-422-4225. Again, this is a call-in show where we try and answer everybody's questions. I'll try to hang out in the Facebook and the YouTube chat. It's a little harder to hang out in the chat on TikTok, but we got a few callers. We'll probably just jump right into that. If you can't hear us over there on YouTube or Facebook, let me know. I want to make sure you can hear us over there, but that was working?
They're Bluetooth, so I don't know how to hook Bluetooth up.
Well, I'm already using the Bluetooth for, I got to have this hooked up to the Bluetooth.
Can I call that number again? Would that work? Because I can Bluetooth these.
If I had you on, I don't know how to do that. I have to have you on as a guest. I don't really know, but anyhow, you could stream it live right there on. Stream it.
It'll be delayed too much.
Probably not too much.
Okay.
You could stream it on Facebook, and hook that Bluetooth to there.
Yep.
And you'd be able to hear. That'd work.
Or if you have that thing.
I don't have that thing, but anyway.
No worries. I'll get it.
What the hell's that noise? All right. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to. Oh, that's what's going on. Somebody's calling the shop phone. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a caller. Sorry for the shit show, like always. Facebook loud and clear. Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and take a caller. We have Billy Bob. Billy Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Everything seems to be working. What can I do for you, man?
So talking about a fresh engine rebuild, whether it's an in-frame, outer frame, whatever. Like on the trucks that have, the DPF, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you don't have a trailer and you really can't pull a heavy load to break it in. Can you hook up a laptop and put it into a forced regen to get the temperatures up to break in the motor?
Not gonna lie, a couple of times in the not so distant past, we've had trucks that had to do a forced regen because they wouldn't allow us to drive them, and they get so damn hot from a forced regen. I'll be honest with you, I think it probably does a pretty good job of breaking them in. The only thing is that you're trying to achieve more than just getting it hot. You need to get it hot while it's under load, which is under boost, right? So a forced regen isn't really adequate enough. Yeah, you're getting it hot, but you're not actually doing the job you need to do, which is getting boost pressure on top of the rings, which forces the rings out against the liner wall while it's hot. That's what you're really trying to do. So a forced regen, even though it gets hotter and shit, and it seems like that's probably doing the job, it's really not doing the job.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All I had.
I mean, So in the most desperate situation, like you want to make sure you break it in, and you don't have a trailer, you don't have a dyno, honestly, burn your brakes up. Brakes are cheap. Take it out, find a good hill so you don't use the least amount of brakes possible, and use your brakes. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's better than doing nothing. I can guarantee you that. Brakes are a hell of a lot, a couple of brake pads, and it's not like you're actually going to burn them up anyhow. You're just going to take some life off of them, but that's preferable over to having liners that burn oil nonstop.
Yeah.
They're pretty delayed. 10 seconds.
Jesus. All right, man. Well, I appreciate the call.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
That reminds me of you see it more shops than I'd care to mention that will not put coolant in the engine and then run it outside for 20 minutes, and they think that's breaking it in. You're missing one of the key factors there. Yeah, you might be getting it hot as shit, but you're not putting it under boost, which is forcing the rings against the cylinder wall. So you're really not achieving what you're trying to do just by getting it hot. You need the combination of those two things. But anyhow, yeah, dyno break-ins preferred. We don't have a dyno here. We've been breaking them in for 14 years without a dyno and without any negative effects from doing that. And there's something to be said though for taking it out and running it and putting it in the real world scenario where you have it hooked to a trailer and you're pulling some hills, and you certainly find all the little bugs in it. So there is something to be said for that as well. Josh, you're on Hack Nation Live. What can we do for you, brother?
Hey, brother, how's it going? Hey, man, I just had a quick question. So we got a C15 Acer. It's a MXS, and the drivers. We bought this truck a couple weeks ago, and the driver's telling me in it that it only boosts up to about 35, and then sometimes it gets up to 40 psi on the gauge on the boost. He says it has power, but like he's like our other trucks, they boost about 45 to 50 on a normal day. So I was just wondering, is that normal for an MXS? I've changed the boots on it. The CAC is good.
So boost problems on it. I mean, it doesn't sound like it gets all the way up to 45, you said?
It gets up like it on a normal hill, it's at 30, 35, but then sometimes, on a long climb, it gets up to 40, but that's the max it does. So we were just wondering if that's normal.
That's high enough that you can pretty much rule out that you're having a turbo problem, right?
Exactly.
Anytime anybody talks about a boost pressure problem on an Acer, the first question is does it still have the stock exhaust system on it?
Yeah, it does.
That's the problem. They have catalytic converters in the stacks.
Got it.
And that
makes sense.
After they get some age on them, everybody complains about that problem. They sell a direct replacement spark arrestor you can throw in there. They're only like $150 or something, and then you don't have to modify anything. You just pull that out and put that in. You're good to go.
Okay, if you remember, man, I had an EGT issue on my other truck, the one I drive. I called you last week, and you told me the same thing. 6 EGTs. I guess I got to do the same thing on this one.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
All right, brother, man. Well,
perfect, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep, bye.
Thank you.
All right. Again, guys, if you're watching on TikTok, roll on over to Facebook or YouTube. You can hear the caller. Can't hear the caller on TikTok, so it's a better place to go over there. I do appreciate you guys watching from TikTok, but the experience isn't quite all it could be. So, we recommend you go over there. Let's see if I can get some power going to this phone. We got quite a few callers on, so we're going to keep ripping through them and see what we can do.
I can hear now, but it's delayed.
Yeah.
I'll just be slow as usual.
Yeah. you never have been right in the head. Anyway, guys, again, this is Rob Carr, good friend of mine. Hopefully he's going to be around long enough we can go sailing. He owns a sailboat as well, but we've known each other for 14 years or something. He drove for me up in Alaska, and he was pretty heavily involved in my gun store. Had a gun store of his own too, actually. I forgot about that. So
better one.
Yeah, right. Bullshit. A good one though, for sure. Jared, how we doing, man?
Doing all right. How you doing there?
Good, man. What can I do for you?
So I'm looking to get into the trucking industry. Well, I'm in the trucking industry. I'm a company driver now, but I'm looking to buy a truck. Just curious, what's the best engine package and transmission and best truck you think you can buy even pre-emissions?
Crazy thing is how many people, just like a little side note here, how many people try to get a hold of me during the day and they just want to ask me what truck they should buy. and the gals always filter them out and say, well, you can call him on Wednesday and ask him that question. He really doesn't want to bother with that question in the middle of the day when he's trying to work, you know, but it's just kind of funny. But the answer to that is always going to be what I'm going to say right now. And first thing you have to do is look at what job you're planning on doing. You got to buy the truck according to the job, because to give you a great example, during the 2015 oil collapse, I took all of my equipment down to Savannah, Georgia, and did a job down there. And that's the closest I ever came to getting pushed under. And it took me 18 months to escape that place. And what I didn't realize is I had these super heavy duty trucks with, 46,000 pound rears and 24 5s and 4 fuel tanks and heavy front ends and 18 speeds and big cat engines. And I got down there and I got my ass handed to me because you're limited to 80,000 pounds. Right. And I'd never been in a scenario like that before. And, I was running around. Everybody else down there had little day cabs, with super light duty trucks, but they could haul 28, 32 tons. And my trucks could haul, the best truck I had hauled 23 tons. And some of them were only hauling 20. And so I couldn't make any money. And it took me months to escape that place, just trying to get enough money to get the hell out of there. And I many times thought I wasn't going to make it. Right. So you got to buy accordingly. So if you went and bought a truck like I owned, you're going to pay 3 times as much as buying something like the boys in Georgia run around in and not be able to make any money with it. So you got to start with, what am I going to do? And then go from there, right? It's not really about, oh, should I buy pre-emissions? Oh, should I have an 18 speed? Should I have a 13 speed? Should I get a Detroit? It really should start with, what job am I going to do? And then get the truck that best fits that match. And you need to look at, am I trying to get the best fuel mileage? Well, that rules out cats, right? Like right out the gate. Do I need lots of horsepower? Well, that kind of rules out the 60 series Detroits, and people might cry in the comments and this and that, but it kind of does. You can get a 15-liter engine, you can get a 14-liter engine, right? So, you got to kind of look at it like that. Do you need lockers all the way around? Do you need a heavy duty front end? Do you need to roll around? Can you roll around on low pros? Do you need to roll around on 22 5s? Or do you need 24 5s? You need a shit ton of rubber between you and the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically what I was looking to get into is, was going to be my next question as well, is if you do anything with like reefer trailers. So looking to pull a reefer and run all 48.
Right. So you need something,
other than
you need something that you can sleep in comfort. You need something that can get really good fuel mileage, and you need something that you can get some longevity out of the engine. Right. And that opens you up to the best priced trucks on the market. You don't need a heavy duty truck. You just don't. You can look at Columbias and stuff like that, Turbine Suburbans, and you don't need a 379 long nose Pete with a flat top, be part of the flat top mafia to go haul a reefer in around,
Right.
For me, once I figured out a good truck for a good price, the best advice I could probably give anybody is go look at the goddamn thing and don't just buy it. You go make sure the torsion arms and the cross links and the drag link and the steering box and the kingpins and the brakes and the drums and the tires and all that shit are in good working order. You can tell a lot about how the truck was taken care of. If it's just a clapped out piece of shit falling apart, you probably should move on.
All right.
So, guys get so caught up in what engine they're going to get. They'll buy clapped out pieces of shit with the engine that they really wanted. I would try to avoid that.
So so basically across the board, as long as run strong and everything of that nature, then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to make sure somebody, you didn't have some steering wheel holder that owned it before you, and you're buying some clapped out piece of shit, pretty much.
Okay.
What you don't want to do is
All right. Well, those are the only questions.
what you don't want to do is try to get on your feet and dump dump constant money into your truck.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it. I was looking to possibly go I don't know, like something they did an outer frame on a little bit older truck they cared for kind of thing, something that was rebuilt and was maintained right.
I try to avoid going too old, man. You end up with wiring problems. You end up with all kinds of nightmares. But ask me how I know. Everything I bought was old. But I always had a good team of guys and whatever else. But anyway, brother, I appreciate the call though.
Cool.
Yep. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep. Bye.
All right, buddy.
So in the comments, I see somebody said they're stoked about the gapless rings. So a little update on that. The purchase order has been finalized. They are in production. I checked on them today. They're thinking they're actually going to go a little quicker than they thought. We were at 10 weeks, and they've shaved about 10 days off of that 2 door time frame. We're thinking somewhere between 7 and 8 weeks. We're actually going to have them in hand. I did have some pre-made. We sent them to Ohio Truck Works. They should have them in the next day or two. They're going to install them in a 6NZ. They're doing 2 6NZs side by side, one without, one with, and they're going to dyno test them for us. It should be a good time. I may fly out there and film it with them, but if not, I think my boys are going to fly out there and film it with them. It's going to be pretty cool. Why is it hiding comments? You did an overhead on your 1LW and now the engine runs like shit and it's missing. That's not good, brother. Do we answer questions on the YouTube chat? Yeah, man, we can. It's better to call in, though. Again, the guys, the number is 573-422-4225. We really want you to call in. That way everyone gets an opportunity to participate in your question. And that way more questions get answered. Somebody else may have the same question you have. How are our kits looking? Man, I'm not sure. I've been asking the same thing. We thought we were like 3 weeks out 8 weeks ago. So I know there's been a lot of production problems. All of our stuff is being made in the United States for all the people that want to talk shit and say whatever. Oh, the tariffs, blah, blah. But what people need to understand is the way that comparative advantage works and the way the global economy works is even if your shit's made in the United States, you're still affected by tariffs because, like, I'll give you a great example. Most steel's made right here in the United States, but almost all of the steel in the United States gets shipped out of the United States, gets put into raw products, and those raw products get shipped back and get finished here. And most people that are saying that they have made in America products, that product went to Malaysia, went to China, went to Cambodia, went to Vietnam, went to Brazil, and got put into, went to a foundry of some kind, then came back here. And then the finishing is done here. So it was in America twice, but it went to another country. And my product line's no exception to that. So even though we're trying to do everything made in the United States, the tariffs are still kicking our ass just like everybody else. So anyway, guys, we got lots of callers. We probably better take them. I see the chat's really popping, but I thought you were going to say something, Rob.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's usually better not to when I think like that.
Yeah, well, you know me, man. I did radio, had an AM talk show forever, and I just know the worst thing for any kind of show of any kind is dead air.
It's what?
Dead air.
Oh, yeah.
No talking. So, I'll just keep talking. If you want to say something,
yeah, you
just push right in because I won't stop talking for that reason. No dead air.
Yeah.
Julio, what can we do for you, brother?
Hey, how's it going, boss? I got a quick question for you. I have an E model cab. It probably got like 40,000 miles on a rebuild, and unfortunately, the driver was dumping a load and it turned over. The truck was sitting on its side for about like 24 hours. Didn't leak any coolant out. All the oil came out, obviously. I was just wondering what would be the procedure be to like try and get that truck started to see like if any damage was done.
Well, So if you look at what the manufacturers say, they say if an engine's been in a wreck or especially in a rollover, that you shouldn't reuse the engine. At minimum, you should have it line.
Yeah.
You should have it line board and change the crank. That's what they say. That's the answer I should give you. But the hacknation answer I'm going to give you is I have in North Dakota. It's crazy. We trucked in Alaska for 9 years on the most dangerous road in the United States. Rob was up there with me. Never had a serious accident up there. And the most and we had accidents and stuff, and it's scary as shit, but nothing crazy. Then we go to North Dakota, and I have 5 rollovers in a 6-year span, almost a rollover a year, because guys have cell service there in North Dakota, and every single rollover was due to guys being on their phone. And every single one of those engines, I yarded out and rebuilt and put in another truck. And I never had anything negative happen from that. So take that for what you will. Obviously, grain of salt is what I'm trying to say with that. But the professional advice I have to give you is that you don't want to you want to line bore it and put a new crank in it.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I like a small caveat. I don't know if it makes a difference, but like I know as soon as like the truck was pulling an end dump, and it was a dump trailer, so it wasn't like going down the road and turned over. It was all stationary, and I know the driver shut off the truck within like 15 seconds of like as soon as the truck turned over, he hopped up to shut off the engine. And so I don't know if that makes any difference.
Let me put it to you this way: I rolled a W900 down a mountainside, and I rolled several times with a C15 MXS Acer, and about a year later I yarded that engine out of there and fixed all the broken stuff on it and ran it. I mean,
so I guess maybe best sorry to cut you off, but I guess the best route might be is maybe have the mechanic or rebuilt to rip it apart again. And
I'm not really. That's not really what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you're probably okay to just try to run it. But
I figured as much. But I mean, I guess peace of mind would help a long way. I also had one more question for you, real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I could ask. The truck. It started. So the truck went in for the rebuild originally for a drop liner, and after we repaired everything, now it's pushing a slight bit of coolant, but that's only like at temps over like 210. Like whenever I like let the fan, like my fan switches on, I turn my fan on manually like around 210-ish, but like that's the only temp it'll push coolant out at. Do you think that's a head gasket?
So here's 2 things. Number one is you should stop turning the fan on yourself.
Yeah.
It's incredibly unhealthy for the engine. Number 2 is if you stop turning it on yourself, then you could find out if the engine is running away from you. Right, the engine fan will come on by itself, and if it doesn't cool itself back down, you know you have a problem. Right, like if the red light comes on, you have a problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't. I meant to miss out. Like the engine does cool itself off. It doesn't have any overheating issues because when it went in for the drop liner, it was overheating like crazy. So that was like really specific about watching about that this time.
It's unlikely.
So
it's unlikely you have a head problem. Most likely, what's going on is you're putting too much coolant in it, and once it gets hot enough, every coolant will push some out. So you should probably stop putting coolant in. And you'll know if you have a problem and you stop putting coolant in, and then all of a sudden your check engine light comes on for low coolant, then yes, you're probably dealing with some kind of minor problem that's going to turn into a bigger problem.
Yeah, gotcha. I don't want to sound like I have an answer to everything, but this truck, like when I started noticing this, it was about like 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't until this Monday actually that the truck needed to be added to like 2 gallons of coolant before the check engine light came on. Went to turn on the truck first thing in the morning, and then it got the warn engine, checked the coolant. It was a little low, added 2 gallons, and then now it's just doing the same thing, only pushing coolant when it gets a little bit hot.
How much does it push?
Like, man, like a little bit. Like it just squirts out a little, like if you had water in your mouth, you just spit it out, like something like that every little time. Like I said, it was about 3 weeks that I only added 2 gallons.
You're putting too much in.
Yeah.
Stop adding coolant to it, unless the check engine light comes on. If the check engine light's not coming on for low coolant, then stop it. You're just adding coolant and spitting it out.
Yeah.
You're just fighting it for no reason. All right, brother.
All right, then. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night and good luck.
Thank you.
There's a comment in the Facebook feed that I want to touch on here. A guy says, pay off my 29 International with an X15 Auto and keep it, or save and buy a pre-emissions truck outright. I don't know. I kind of a little loath to give financial advice, but here's a thought. Okay. I was just reading an article that they figure that there's another 8 to 10 days of freight coming in to the ports, and then there'll be no more freight. Okay. China and the United States are not trading with each other at all. And you guys have to realize that the freight was going to dry up. I said something about it, 3 weeks ago, made a video about it, and everybody's on there saying I'm an idiot, but now it's becoming a reality. In another week, guys, all of the people that work at the ports are going to be flooding to the over-the-road market, trying to find a job. But the over-the-road market's going to be collapsing with it because there's no freight from the containers for the over-the-road guys to haul. I think you're about to see the biggest bloodbath in trucking in the history of trucking over the next 15 to 20 days. In fact, I fucking guarantee it. So my thought is if I owned a truck right now, and this is from the bottom of my heart, guys, I honestly think that you should take this as sound advice. If you want to survive what's coming and you don't own your truck outright, you need to figure out a way to make your truck payments 6 months out right now. A year out if you can. I would focus all my energy. I wouldn't get into debt. I wouldn't get into another truck. I would focus 100% of my energy on paying my truck 6 months to a year out. And put yourself in a position where you can park the fucking truck. You need to be in a position right now where you can park the truck, because freight's going to come so low that you're going to haul at a deficit just to try and make your truck payment. Make your truck payment. Get yourself in a position where you can park your truck and cut off the insurance and just park it. Easier said than done. I'm not telling you how to do things, okay? I'm giving you some advice. That's what I think you should do. If I owned a truck, that's exactly what I would try to do, is make my payments as far out as I can so I can be in a position to park the truck. And the guys that are in that position could be a little bit more choosy about what they haul. Make sure they're not hauling for free. Number one. Number two, they can literally park the truck. And when freight comes back, let's hope they make a deal. Freight comes back, you'll be one of the few that survive it. It's just my thought. Anyway, back to the phone lines we go.
I'm gonna go check on the dog.
Okay.
If you
coming back?
have any, if you have any questions, just wait. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No. You're no stranger to trucking, Rob, for sure. Yeah, my good buddy Rob from out of town. He's from Alaska. He's a snowbird and spends his time in Florida. But anyway, DJ, you're on the air, brother. Let's roll.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Good, man. What can I do for you?
Hey, I was calling just a simple question. Trying to figure out what's the cheapest to rebuild, the X15 or the DD13?
X15 by far. And I think that's pretty much across the board at every shop. I know at my shop, for the price we would want to do your DD15, I could do your X15 3 times, literally.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's another thing, guys, is I thought our pricing was going to stay. Our internal pricing, like our hourly rate and all that, has stayed the same. We haven't changed that, but we're having a requote every 5 days right now because the price is accelerating so fast. Our cylinder heads have went up almost $1,000. We've been saving every cylinder head we have. We have like 50 of them in the back right now. We're just piling them up. And I asked our machine shop to get pins coming so we can repair all our cylinder heads, because that's going to be like the biggest problem. But man, I think it's gonna get crazy, boys. I really think it's gonna get crazy. I have a produce broker out of South Florida. Thoughts on executive order to enforce English proficiency? I don't know about that. Anyway, take another caller here. I don't see a name, but you're on the air, brother. Little bursting problems with an
How you doing? My name is... Yes, sir. How you doing? My name is Julio. I just rebuilt a ISX twin cam 2004 model. PDI kit, AFA head, because I took the head to the machine shop. I weighed it at 6'6", pinned it. But now when I first fired it up, because the oil in the pistons and whatnot, it sounded like it wanted to run away from me, but it didn't. It just revved up to 16, and then at first it'll go down and go up, and then I've been just checking it out. I came to a conclusion thinking it was probably the ECM, so I went out and got another ECM, and now it will rev up and come down, rev up and come down. It's just like rough idle. It won't sit there and idle at a low RPM. Hello?
I'm here. I'm just thinking about what you said. I don't have an easy answer for that one. What is it doing?
It won't sit there and idle. It will rev up. It'll come down. It's all like you're just matching the gas hard and then just ease off of it. And matching it hard and let go on it.
I mean, it's got to be a wiring problem.
And then if I sit there and I try to rev it, it won't rev. I put it down. I put the truck down at first because it had a lot of blow-by. I didn't know it had a lot of blow-by. Well, I knew it had blow-by, but not that much. Because pushing oil out, the notorious oil leak that the ISX have from the front cover, I was just about to do that at first. But then when we were about to start getting nitty-gritty to it, I just said might as well rebuild it because it had extremely bad low blow-by. And when we took it apart, the top rings were out. Between the 3 and 4 piston, the top rings were just a lot of carbon on them. But it was a running truck. I parked it running.
But you start it now and it revs up on its own?
Yeah, it'll rev up on its own and it'll come down. It'll rev back up and it'll come back down. It won't sit there and idle.
Does it still have the is it still stock, has original turbo and all that kind of stuff?
Yes. All that stuff. It's stock. It's a 2004 model, so it's not the one with that block on top of the turbo. I'm new to the engine world. This is my second engine I ever built, but I took my time, like real good on it.
Yeah, so
I bought the book and everything. I mean,
it doesn't have a VGT turbo then.
No, it got coolant lines to it, and it got like an air valve to it. At first, I cranked it without the piping of the turbo for the same reason the Frego trying to run away from me. But then I put them on without the clamps, thinking maybe it needed like boost pressure, but it still does the same thing.
How far does it rev
The
up?
exhaust is like, right now with the second ECM, it won't pass 13.
Up to 13. A guy in the comments says the 871 has a metering actuator, and it's kind of normal unless he's talking about revving way up. But I don't know, man.
They won't sit there. Oh, and one more thing. When I scanned it with the old ECM, it just gave me an EGR code and a cooling code because I cranked it without putting the radiator back on. So I put the radiator back on and, topped off the fluids. I just haven't scanned it with the new ECM. But at first, when I stopped the old ECM, it got to a point that it'll just rev up and they'll shut off.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It might be those little modules on the side, the fuel modules. I can't remember what the hell they're called. Is it running rough as well?
Yes, because it won't. Like I said, I couldn't really tell because it's not idling. But when it revs up, it sounds like when they have a bad filter
Yeah.
or like a little sucking air.
So
it's not.
you have 4 little modules on the side, and they have doishes that go into them. First thing you need to do is push in on all those. They'll come loose on their own, and it will run exactly like you're talking about. It's the actuators on the side.
Okay, in the front where like that, where underneath the fuel filter goes, you mean?
No, yep, the driver's side. Yep, it's probably, I bet you $100.
All right, you say you just push on them. What do you mean?
Yeah, that has Deutsch connectors. Push them in. They're probably falling out. Seriously, it's probably all it is.
Okay, well, I'll double check my harness tomorrow. And also, one more thing. How can I go about to getting a rebuilt in-frame kit from you?
Call me. Of course.
Oh, okay.
If you go to my Facebook, the very first post, the pinned post, has our number. You can get a hold of us there. All right, brother?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your time. I sure appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
I almost bet you $100 that's that guy's problem. It happens all the time. Those little doishes fall out. One sec, guys. I'm going to grab a water. Anyhow, I'm back. All right, guys. Again, the number is 573-422-4225. This is Hack Nation Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett. If you're watching on TikTok, we encourage you to go over to Facebook or YouTube. You can hear the caller over there. Then it won't seem so weird. Mike calling about Eaton Fuller. Hello.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Amazing. What can I do for you, brother?
Hello. Hey, do you deal with transmissions much? Just got a quick question for you.
I mean, I certainly have.
Okay. I work at a diesel shop down here in Iowa. Got a customer transmission. It you can feel the vibration through the shifter, and it's like a clunk, 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 but it's consistent. When you give it more RPM, it doesn't increase the speed of it. And if you let off of it, this coast, it doesn't do it. He just had another shop put a clutch in here about 2,000 miles ago, and didn't know if it was transmission problem or if it was something that the guy did with the clutch. But then I didn't want to pull the transmission out quite yet. And I knew you were live. I wanted to kind of toss it around your idea, what you thought.
I mean, he wasn't having this problem until after the clutch job.
Yeah, he didn't have the problem until after the clutch got put in.
And it only does it under load.
Yep. Yeah, and it's only seventh gear you feel it, 8th a little bit, then 9th it doesn't do it, and then 10th you got it. And the low side it doesn't do it at all.
Low side it doesn't do it at all.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, maybe a tooth broke off one of the gears in the transmission, and
maybe. I mean, if it's the bearings going out, you would feel it in the low side as well as the high side. If you had your bearings are going out, if the gears are falling into each other, it almost and it's clunking.
Yeah, like you can. It's like consistent, like clunk, like it sounds like something rubbing in there. I didn't know if maybe the input shaft rubbing the throwout bearing.
Well, I don't know.
Somehow, maybe it was doing it.
I mean, it might be.
Got me scratching my head.
It might be the throwout bearing, but it seems like it would do it all the time.
That's what I was thinking too.
I
was wondering maybe if it wasn't some gear, a tooth or something. One of the gears inside the transmission went, and we come in. We drain fluids on transmission rear end, and found one rear end was some gold flaking in there, and so we swapped rear ends for him and it said that it got better than it was, but it's still doing it.
So, ironically, I was going to say what you're describing sounds more like a rear end than it does a transmission. And you had you had a bad rear end on it.
Yeah, we found the main input coming off the transmission, and that one has some gold flaking in there. So we're guessing the bushing inside the input shaft was going out. I mean, the rest of the ring and pinion gear looked good, but all the internal bearings were basically getting a grenade from what the inland shop that we took it to have them look at it because it's still under warranty.
I bet you the other differential is actually causing the problem.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I was wondering too. If it wasn't something, because
I would,
like if you let off the throttle completely, it goes away.
Yeah.
As soon as you give it under a load, then it kind of comes back again.
Sounds like a differential to me, and you'll feel it all the way up in the transmission. I would drop the oil on the diff that you guys didn't fuck with. I bet you anything that's actually what's going on.
Yeah. We did drop the oil on that one. The oil didn't. It looked better than the one that actually went out. But I wonder if maybe the output shaft might be going or something.
I don't know, but it sounds like a differential problem. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to put a pump kit open than hold the transmission.
Yeah, it really is.
No, I just wanted to. I knew you were live and you were pretty knowledgeable, and I wanted to kind of bang it off of your head. And
yeah, back in the day, we used to rebuild all our transmissions, but we only ever did our own. You know, I mean that's because I had the hardened gear, super heavy duty 18 speeds, and they're like $12,000 to buy a fucking drop in. You know. Yeah.
Nowadays we just buy just to get new ones. You know, get a better warranty with them. And
fuck, you can't rebuild them for what you could buy them for, damn near. To be honest with you, the lighter duty ones. You know, same thing with the 40,000 pound rear ends. You know, I used to my brother-in-law and I used to rebuild all of our differentials, but we had 46,000 pound rears with air lockers, and they were $7,000 to $9,000 to replace them. The 40,000 pound rears, $1,400. You got a new differential, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It don't make sense to rebuild them, honestly. But anyway,
no, it don't.
All right, brother. Well, I really think you need to look at that other diff, but good luck, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate your time, man.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times over the years guys brought in transmission, came in for transmission problems, and it was actually a differential. Quite often, actually.
That it is the differential.
Yeah.
Thinking,
I think it's the transmission. It's actually the differential. All right, Aiden, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
I am just calling about a CPL swap on a Cummins ISX. Is that cost effectively worth it?
Well, it depends on which one it is and what you're trying to go to.
Well, because it's currently like a low horsepower, like it's a CM2350. It's a low horsepower like setup, like I think it's a 425 stock. But I'm looking at going into hauling 129,000 pound quarter, and I'm wondering if I can build it up or not.
Yeah, I mean, you can. For that low a horsepower, if you wanted to go to like a 605 to 600 high torque, I believe you have to change. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure you have to change the turbo, the injectors, the camshaft, the piston crowns, and one of the gears in the front, maybe two. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So the block, the block itself, it's going to get rebuilt anyway, burning oil like a motherfucker. But
yeah, as far as your block rods and yes, there's no problem there. The cylinder head, all that's the same.
Okay. No, that was my question. And so, like in North Dakota, running 129,000 pound corridor with A-trains, you need to run 46,000 pound rear ends, or could Super 40s be fine?
Depends on
there's not really that many hills over here.
Depends on who's driving, brother.
Okay. Okay. No, that's all I have for questions. So.
You can get away with 40s and do any job. Depends on who's driving.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a bunch of old timers tell me that hauling in the Rockies in BC, you can do it with 40s, no problem. Just gotta know where to drive.
Yeah, everyone told me I couldn't run 40,000-pound rears on the Alaska Haul Road, and I did on one of my own trucks for 3 years. And I just was careful. Just never jammed it, never hopped it, never popped it. So
that makes sense. But perfect. Thank you.
All right, brother, man. Good luck. All right, we still got lots of time and lots of callers. Go ahead and just keep running on down the list here. Hey, you're on the air. I don't got any info on you. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, brother, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, we got a couple Series 60 Detroits, the older ones. Question about them. We always seem to have the problem. They always want to run cold on us. Like, they always want to run around like the 175, 177 Fahrenheit. And we've changed thermostats enough times to make a guy go dizzy, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. I'm just wondering if you've ever run into the problem or had a solution for something like that.
One of the biggest reasons that there isn't 60 series Detroits in Alaska for the most part is because you can't keep oil in them because the damn things won't get warm enough. They're notorious for not running hot enough, for sure. But there's an easy solution: cover up some of the radiator.
Yeah, we've done that. It definitely helps, but it always wants to fluctuate temperature a lot, and they like we're pulling Super Beast, so it's heavy. It always wants to. It'll run the fan freaking like 3 times every 10 miles just because it doesn't want to stay steady on the temperature. So we had tried it.
That's because your air, if you're hauling heavy, your air to air is trying to breathe. That's why that's happening. So there's another solution. Put belly tarps on it. That will help. That will help keep it way warmer without making it struggle for the air to air.
Right. Yeah, my dad runs a 60 series as well, and he did that for a bit, and it did help. Just not enough.
Well, how big of a belly tarp did he make? I usually make them so they go, about 2 foot up the sides, and I usually make it so to go about 1 foot up the front of the radiator there, and then go back all the way to at least back to the middle part of the transmission.
Yeah, he only ran his about to the back of the pan and then up to the sides of the frame rails, and then he just ran the winter front on the front of it. But
yeah,
we even tried it. We put a set of cat thermostats in it, and they don't quite fit, but they fit close enough to run it, and it ran it just fine. Then it seemed to help because the cats seemed to maintain temp a lot nicer, but it was very sort of a redneck trial.
That
but it worked.
engine just doesn't build enough heat internally. There's not enough going on. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yep. No, that was I blew one up, a 14-liter here about a month ago. I put an 8-inch window in the side of it, and I got a new one on coming next week, and I was trying to think of a way to make this stupid thing run a little warmer. Hopefully treat it a little nicer, but
winter front and a belly tarp's the only thing you can do.
Yep. Figured I'd also the memory on that one. So appreciate the time, man.
Yep. Have a good one, brother, and good luck.
Oh, I was going to ask, but it was delayed when he was talking. I couldn't hear him on as fast, but where was he at?
I don't know where he was at.
Because I was going to say about running or getting a separate heater too, because if you're running the cab heater, doesn't that take a lot of temperature away from like it would lower your temp?
Yeah, it does. They're miniature radiators, of course.
Yeah, and they're big on a big rig, like you can probably save a lot of temperature if you got like a propane heater or something.
Yeah, or like a little Webasto diesel heater.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's a thought. Yeah. I don't know how much your heaters rob your heat from the engine, but I know they do. They're miniature radiators for sure. That is a thought. All right. Sean, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, I got a 3406 cat, and it's a 1LW. I took it in and had an overhead done on it, and now the engine under throttle, it's cutting out almost like it's missing. And I've taken it back to the place I had do it twice, and I also had a map or a atmospheric pressure temperature sensor changed, and now they're not sure if it's the wiring harness or the ECM. Does that sound right?
Well, you can pretty much rule the ECM out. I cannot stand. I mean, I don't know why shops always default to the ECM.
Right.
We don't even change an ECM a year, and we have more trucks come to our shop than probably any shop in the United States. I think that's probably a fair assessment, and we don't even change an ECM a year. And it blows my mind how many guys have had their ECM changed by other shops. Why would the ECM magically be the reason you're having that problem? My first thought would be, I mean, did they recheck the overhead? Obviously.
They didn't want to go back in and recheck the overhead, and what they were saying, the reason why they were saying the ECM was bad, and I had heard you say that before, that's why I kind of wanted to ask, was they said they put a standalone ECM in it, and they were unplugging the atmospheric pressure sensor, and it wasn't showing an open circuit. When they plugged it back in, it wouldn't show that it was reading, and so they were like, that their default is, oh, you need a new ECM. And I've heard you say that before, that that's not the case. And I guess that's my question. Could they have screwed the overhead up?
Of course.
I thought it was pretty cut and dry on it, Cat.
Doesn't mean they didn't screw it up, right? I mean, you have to look at the correlation. You bring your truck in there. Were you having a problem before you went in there? Or are you just doing routine maintenance?
I was. I was throwing the code, the 26 code on the cat, and that they were saying that sensor was bad, so they were going to replace it. And I said, well, you're in there. I need to get an overhead done anyways. Let's get it done. And I've had just problems. The truck is blowing a lot of smoke, lack of power. Climbing the hills, headed up to Utah, and it just
has
went to
anybody
hell.
done an injector cutout test? It sounds like you just have a bad injector to me.
No, they haven't, and that's kind of what I was calling to ask for
why
some
aren't
advice
you going
as to what to do next.
Go somewhere different. That'd be my first piece of advice. Go somewhere different.
And you are correct. That's my next deal. I live in Shamrock, Texas, so I took it over to Oklahoma City to have them do some work, at a reputable shop. I won't throw them under the bus, but yeah, I didn't get very far. I ended up with more problems when I left than when I came in.
Right. You need to go somewhere else. I'm thinking you probably have it's probably been an injector problem this entire time. Some guy just said, okay. I worked at Kenworth for 13 years, and in that time I saw 2 cat ECMs replaced. And 99% of the time, when you have to replace an ECM, it's because the internal battery died. That is one of the only reasons you have to change an ECM. Occasionally, you have, green death, corrosion, or something like that, but it's very rare. It's almost always a battery died, internal battery, and you got to get a new one, and you send that one in, and then somebody somewhere just replaces that battery, and then refurbishes it and resells it again. But ECMs don't just cause your problems. That's the dumbest thing. Why would they cause your problems?
I remember you saying that, and man, dude, you got some really good advice, and I appreciate you taking the time to answer that for me. And I'll get it to a shop, and that's going to be our next move, man. I appreciate it, Aaron.
Get it somewhere and do a damn injector cutout test for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, sir. Good luck.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
how far are we out on an in-frame? In-frames for the first time in our lives, we're not that far out. We're a couple weeks out is all. Out of frames, we have 34 out of frames going on at one time right now. But in frames, we're not far out at all. So do the stupid puzzle piece. All right, guys. Anyway, stay away from sales next. You'll need a new truck. That's funny. All right, lots of callers still, guys. We'll just keep going through them here. Hello, Parker's. I think.
Yeah, Parker.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. I've got a 2004 379. It's got NBN Cat 10-speed. I bought it from the original owners. Anyhow, I've had it since December, and here recently, I don't know, it's just been acting funny. It started missing out of nowhere, always later in the afternoon. So took it over there. They got their own shop, did an injector cutout test, found that number 3 was weak. So they took care of me, got that replaced. But still, every day at around 4:30, I lose fuel, boost. I mean, it doesn't run rough. It's not smoking, no nothing, just no boost. Or, I get 25 pounds instead of 32, what it normally pulls. So I'm thinking about a barometric pressure sensor. Just, what do you think?
I mean, are you in the same area every time?
For the most part, yeah. We're down here just east of you in the El Campo area. Or Houston.
I mean, the barometric pressure sensor can cause you problems and not throw a code. That's a fact, because it's just a diaphragm. Same thing with your boost pressure sensor. Both of those can be non-code throwing problematic sensors because the diaphragm won't read what's going on, and it doesn't mean that it's having a fault. That makes sense?
100%, and it's not throwing a code. I even went back. There's a couple things that we changed. We went from Baldwin filters to Cat. And then the pyrometer wasn't working. So recently I've heard people say that the Caterpillar filters, they had trouble with them. So I went to Baldwin's. I ran it the other night and I just said, well, it's either going to show its face or we're going to make it there. And I just ran the piss out of it and it ran great. The next day, get loaded in the afternoon, about 4:30 in the afternoon. I ain't been going nowhere and just dead, 20, 22 pounds, 25 if I really rear it up.
Yeah.
So I figured it was something electrical. I'm just hunting it down.
Yeah, it's probably a sensor. And let me tell you a little secret about the filters. Baldwin makes some filters for Cat. Cat makes 0 filters, by the way. Cat makes 0 filters. You can challenge me all you want, but this is a factual statement. Cat makes 0 filters. Baldwin makes some of Cat's filters, not very many. They make some of their special filters, and then Donaldson makes all the rest of Cat's filters, all of them. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking that you're going to get some difference by buying Cat filters instead of Baldwin, the only difference that you got, like if you buy Baldwin's high efficiency filters that are made to Cat spec, you're buying a Cat filter, right? But you just paid literally 1/4 the amount of money.
Yeah, and I was just going back on the things that we had changed, because it's so intermittent, and I said, man, what have I changed? And so I just went back, to how I bought it, right?
Yeah.
And I worked in oil field over on that side for a long time, and like a 46-liter Cat, those things, I mean, the same thing. If you'd ever get them acting funny, it'd be the damnedest thing. Put a barometric pressure, or I can't remember the other one, and I mean, they would just come straight to life.
I'd go after those sensors first, for sure. That's the only thing that can make it act funny at a certain time, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Well,
right.
I sure appreciate your time.
Yep. Good luck, brother.
Later.
Bye. All right, guys. I guess I can give out the number because we still have a whole hour. There is quite a few. Holy shit. There's quite a few people on hold. We're going to try and get to all of you here. We're just going to keep ripping through them. The number is 573-422-4225. This is Hack Nation Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett with Hack Nation. Got my buddy Rob Carr from Alaska on here. We go way back, believe it or not. Anyhow, Kevin Berry, hello.
Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
Not much.
So I picked up this truck last summer. It's a 98 FLD 120 flat top. But it's got a Detroit 14 liter in it. At first, when I first saw the truck, I thought it was a 12.7, but it's a 14 liter non-EGR from the factory. Have you heard of that motor?
Yep.
Are they? Well, it's spun. I got the truck cheap from a guy. He spun a bearing in it on the crank. Look, I'm a truck driver. I'm not a mechanic, so this bear with me here. Spun a bearing. Dropped the pan. Yep, there it was. I mean, the truck, it has 300,000 miles on it. Everything looks great. Is this thing worth rebuilding?
I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Well, yeah. Someone was telling me that motor came 600 horse. It was like a short run of what Detroit did.
Yeah, before they had to comply.
Are you familiar with?
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem you run into, that one has a special head compared to the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time you have to get that head refurbished because it's not available at all.
Refurbish, rebuild. Yeah.
That's really the only challenge
Okay.
you run into. Everything else is readily available for that. The only challenge you'll run into is the cylinder head.
Okay. And I checked out the crank. It's dinged up pretty good from spinning that bearing.
Did it
new crank
spin on a rod or a main?
Yeah, it spun a main bearing. No, a rod of the rod bearing.
Okay, so as long as it didn't spin any of the mains, you can you probably still want to send it to a machine shop and have the line board checked, but you just put a new crank in it and give it one rod and roll tide.
Well, I'm out here in Tennessee. I'm thinking about throwing this on one of my trucks and just dropping it off at your place.
Well, we'd want to give you. We could give you a quote, like an accurate quote. That's our process. We don't do anything for anybody without quoting us. So you just go on our Facebook and you can find our number. It's the pin post. We'll give you a little consultation on it so you can make an educated decision. Ain't no thing.
Yeah, I was just blown away by the truck. I bought it off a guy. I mean, the truck has 300,000 original miles. You open the door and it still smells like it came from the factory. I was blown away. I didn't know if this.
Hardly any farts on the seat.
No. Yeah. So, all right. Well, appreciate your time, man. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep. Have a good day.
See you.
Bye. I'm getting tired. Shane, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
It's going good, man.
Hey, so I have a 2000 Peterbilt 379. It's got the Cummins N14 Select Plus in it. I bought the truck July of last year. Very first run out, lost the motor due to one of the injector nozzles. The injector cooling nozzles went bad and lost the number 6 cylinder. Truck had 1.4 million miles on it, had never been rebuilt. So I was a tractor mechanic for UPS for quite a few years, but I went ahead and in-framed the truck, and I did a complete kit on it, new heads, oil cooler, oil pump, water pump, all that. The issue I have is after I got done with it, I've got about 50,000 miles on the new build. She's burning oil. One of the things I've noticed is my oil temperature will run about 200 degrees, my coolant temperature, you can't get that thing to break 150 unless you have a winter cover on it. So about 2 weeks ago, I did a 700-mile run from Denver, Colorado to Durango, Colorado, and back, and she burned almost 5 gallons of oil.
That explains your oil temperature to coolant temperature variance. You have shit tons of combustion gas going into the crankcase, and you have a bunch of broken rings.
Gotcha.
I mean,
that's
there's
what I was worried about.
So if you...
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, at bare minimum, you need to get a re-ring kit. It's only like $1,300 for that truck. Open it back up, throw the re-ring kit in it, and make sure you break it in properly.
And so one of my question for you is, I actually got a hold of, I believe it's Jocelyn at Highway Heavy Parts.
Mm-hmm.
She's got me a complete re-ring kit coming for it. But one of the things I did notice today when I was under the truck, I noticed I have oil coming out of my air dryer. And I guess another question I had for you on that, can a bad air compressor contribute to any of the other issues I'm having with it burning that kind of oil?
Probably not. In fact, it's the other way around. Your compressor is breathing.
Okay.
You're getting its air from the engine, right? From the boost of the engine, and you're blowing by so bad, you're dumping oil into the compressor, and it's pushing into your air dryer. Fix the engine, the compressor air dryer problem will go away. It's a gapless ring time. That's right.
Okay.
You should have had gapless rings. You wouldn't have this problem. That's funny.
You know, I saw those when you announced it, and man, those are awesome. How far out are you guys on getting something like that for the N14?
Well, so we've had probably 50 people call to try and get them from us, but everybody that's called has their engine open and they're putting it back together, which makes sense, of course. So I literally have not gotten rid of have not pre-sold a single set. So I want to wait till I actually have them in my hand and see how well they go. And if they go, then of course I'm going to make them for the 60 series and the N14 as well. But for now, I just have them for, because it's one ring. I only had to make one ring that will fit all of the Cat engines from the 1LW forward and all of the Cummins from the 870 all the way up to the X15. So, that was a pretty easy sell. We make one ring to rule them all. But for the N14 and the Detroit, I'm going to have special rings made, which I don't mind doing that. But I want to see if I get rid of the, I had a minimum order of 1,000 rings. That's a shit ton of rings I gotta try and get rid of here. So
yes,
so
yes, absolutely.
I had to invest quite a bit in this on a gamble that people are going to see the value in it. So we'll see what happens.
No, I think it's absolutely awesome. One other quick question for you is when I was pulling the Jake boxes off of this thing, it's got the 455B Jakes. I noticed that my retainer for the piston return spring on the bottom of the Jakes that sits over the exhaust valve, that retainer's broke, and it actually dropped one of the springs. I think I caught it in time before it actually got to do any damage. But everywhere I go, everyone's saying you can't get Jakes for them anymore. The only way you can get them is to buy them brand new. Do you know of anybody that might still sell any parts for Jacobs brakes?
When I have problems like that, I just recently had a similar problem on a big cam, and I called Worldwide, and they were able to help me out. And they actually sourced them from somebody else, but they were able to help me out. And believe it or not, a lot of times I'm able to source stuff like that from Highway and Heavy Parts. Most people don't know that they do a lot of used parts as well. And I have bought.
I did not know that.
Nobody knows that. but I have bought a pile of used parts from Highway and Heavy Parts over the years. And recently I've used Highway and Heavy Parts quite a bit, or I mean worldwide quite a bit for the same type of stuff. Or I just go down to the fucking junkyards, which they're everywhere here. So it would blow your mind how much shit we buy from the junkyards here. But, you know, especially for those old N14s and the old 60 series Detroits, I'm constantly at the junkyard slanging some piece of shit that we're bringing back here and refurbishing.
Now, in your opinion, is the N14, is that still a good motor that's worth keeping?
Oh yeah,
as far as a workhorse and all that.
Oh yeah, they got awesome power. They are great jakes for what they are, you know, and they get awesome fuel mileage. And I love them, man. I own 2 of them, and I drove the shit out of them. I preferred my cats, but I had no problem when, you know, I had a day cab that was kind of like the penalty box. If their truck was down and in the shop, they had to drive the penalty box, and I had an N14, and most of the guys didn't really complain about it. Everybody liked driving it. So, you know,
okay.
And they're great engines. They really are.
You drove the day cab on the haul road or what?
No, it was in North Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
My brother ran an N14 though.
And then just
on the haul road.
Oh wow, nice. Well, and one more question before I get off here for you. I know you got a bunch of other callers. Oh my gosh, so when I go to break this engine in, I know you say to put it under load and all that. When I get this hooked to a trailer, as far as weight wise, of course I know the heavier the better, but do you feel that there's a minimum weight that you should have to break this thing in? I live in Colorado, so we run the Rockies and all that. So, I mean, we definitely got the hills. But if I break this thing in and I break it in with a trailer or try to find someone with a dyno, like what would you say as far as a heavy load?
There's not really a weight. It's not really how it works. It's trying to get the engine to be at about 80% of its total possible load.
Okay.
And make it work, right? So one of the ways to do that is, let's say that you have a trailer that's only has 20,000 pounds, right? Well, go find a pretty good hill and get all the way up in like 7th direct or 7th over. So you want to be climbing, you know, and so let's say you were in 8th over, and it's trying to lug it out. You want to go in a gear where you're in control, right? Where you can bring the RPMs up rapidly if you need to, and then use the brake, like quite literally use the brake to drag the truck down, make it work. That way you can release the brake to quickly, you know, cool the turbo off, cool off the EGTs and all that, and just work it by using the brake. But you want to have a good hill and stuff like that. So you're only using like 10 pounds of brakes, so you're not smoking the fucking brakes off the truck and trailer. That's how I do it. I just use the brakes, you know, but make sure, you know, you got to have a decent. So the trailer we have here only has like 20,000 pounds of sand in it, you know, so we're loaded like 60,000 when we go out, and that's on purpose because we want to be totally in control, you know. And then we'll find a good hill, you know, a good rolling hill, and we'll go up it. And, you know, you're better off finding a hill you can go up and come back down and like repeatedly go up the same hill instead of like traveling over 100 miles and going up 5 hills. You know what I mean? You want to be getting it hot under load as fast as you can, as many times you can. You want that kind of like your rule of thumb, or my rule of thumb, I should say, is if I can get the engine fan to come on independently by itself 5 or 6 times, I consider it done and bring it home. And if I get that done in 30 minutes, it is what it is. If I get it done in 45 minutes, it is what it is. I bring it home.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Aaron, I really appreciate you for all your help and all your knowledge and taking the time to answer my questions. I really appreciate it.
All right, sir. Well, good luck, okay?
Thank you so much.
Yep, bye.
You have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So I'm going to roll down. We're going to take all of the callers that are on here, but there's so many in the queue. Holy shit. It's going to get late, but if you hang on, we'll get to all of you. I just want to see who the last caller is, number 35. We're not going to take any more calls after that one. So if you're on, hang on. We'll get to you. We're going to just burn through them here. Joe, I think, or Steven, maybe. Hello.
Hello, my name is Ben.
Well, I was wrong twice. What can we do for you?
It's all good. Hey, kind of three things quick. That guy that called you about a half hour ago about that MBN, I have that same engine and that same boost problem he was having. I changed the same two sensors and it fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody else is, I guess, listening, or if that guy is listening, like, at least for me, that fixed my problem.
It's actually a pretty common problem on
and
the cabs, so.
Yeah. I had a fellow truck driver help me with it because it was shortly after I bought this truck and I was kind of clueless. But
welcome.
Next thing isn't so much. Next thing isn't so much of a question, but it's more like, you know, everything you do here in the last couple of years between TikTok and now with the YouTube and everything, like, as an independent owner operator, I'm from northern Iowa, southern Minnesota here. I've been watching your videos a couple of years, and the amount of shit that I've learned from you, you know, just every little thing between keeping your engine warm and, you know, avoiding carbon buildup to the problems with green coolant and the, not really problems, but the benefits of synthetic oil and torquing to yield and head gasket problems that they don't just come up because of themselves. Like, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, and I hope you keep doing this for a long while because I've learned a lot of shit in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It always flabbergasts me how many guys get in my comments and say, oh, yep, engine builder trying to get you to ruin your engine. Like, okay, whatever you say. You know, I mean, hey, how much effort?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
if I would put out this much effort trying to get you to ruin your engine, how fucking retarded. it just hurts my how retarded. But.
Oh yeah, and even highway and heavy, you know, I found out about them through you guys, and I've ordered. I mean, I'm actually getting my MBN cat rebuilt right now. It's actually they should be breaking it in tomorrow. You know, but a lot of my shit came from highway and heavy. My cylinder head. I think they had to buy the cam from Cat itself because the cam had wearing on one of the lobes and whatnot. But I mean, the liner and the pistons and the rings and, you know, everything like that came from highway and heavy. And, you know, it's all because of you. Like, my girlfriend hates it because I'll be laying in bed watching your videos on full volume because I'm fucking deaf. So
that's funny. Yeah, my old lady, she has to hear them all the time. So she would definitely relate to that. So, all right, brother. Well, we appreciate it. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I did actually have one question. Kind of, I guess the guy about the N14, you kind of answered a little bit of my questions with him, but like I said, I'm getting my MBN cat rebuilt, and they're gonna break it in and everything. Is there anything? Is there anything that you would kind of suggest? You know, again, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a truck driver. I try to fix my own stuff, but is there anything that you would kind of suggest as, you know, the first couple loads out, you know, piece of advice? Because this first overhaul I've gotten through.
The number one piece of advice I can give anybody, and this is what we tell everyone when they leave here with their truck, is avoid idling it at all costs for the first 10,000 miles. Just don't do it. Don't idle it. The worst thing you could possibly do is go to a truck stop and climb in a sleeper and go to bed for 10 hours. Yeah,
okay.
Number one, don't idle it. Try not to idle it for 10,000 miles, and you'll thank me later, I promise. Pretty much.
Okay, so I haul livestock. So you're saying I get to the chute, or I buy it back up to the chute, shut it off, even if it's for 10 minutes while I load some cows up.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't sit there and let it wet stack. If you wet stack it, you ruin it. You know, they'll survive a wet stacking with 50,000 miles on them. They won't survive a wet stacking with 3,000 miles on them. You'll smoke the liners. Yeah, and the way.
Yeah, and I did see that video on. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. It's just that's the main thing you're trying to avoid, and the main way you avoid it is not letting it idle. Pretty simple. And I'm not talking about idling it up. I'm talking about not getting in the sleeper. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Get a hotel room.
Okay.
For the first 10,000 miles.
Okay.
Just don't do it. Avoid it, and it will pay off.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate your time, and you have a good night.
You too. Thank you. All right, Chad. What can we do for you, brother?
Yes. Hey, good evening, sir. First of all, thank you for having me on and taking my call. I got a couple, hopefully, quick questions. I have a friend of mine that he had a 2016 Peterbilt. I think it has a Cummins X15 in it, and it caught fire a couple months ago, burned the whole thing down. We towed it over to my 20 acres because he lives like in a subdivision. So it's been there. We started selling parts off of it. I mean, the differentials and airbags and stuff like that. But I kind of don't know if the block is still good or the transmission is still good. It didn't burn down to where like I guess the firefighters caught it in time, but it did burn down. I mean, it's total. It's charred completely, almost gone, right? But it didn't burn. It didn't melt the rims or anything. The floor is kind of still there, but I mean, all the fiberglass is all in it. Melted all the plastics. Turbo for sure is gone and stuff. My question is what do you think about the head and the block and the transmission?
I have reused several engines that have been fire damaged. Several. And I've had people tell me numerous times not to do it, and I've never had anything negative. I have had negative problems from doing that with transmissions that went through a fire, but never from engines.
Oh, okay.
The transmissions,
oh, wow. I thought it would have been
you burn out the seals on the transmission. The engine, the main thing I've used from engines that went through fires, though, is, tore them down and reused the blocks and the structures. So, but I tore them down. So kind of is what it is. The argument is that you weaken the metallurgy, sure. But man, you'd have to get that thing so fucking hot for that. It's unreal, and it's just not likely. So,
that was my thinking too, that they're kind of, go ahead. Sorry.
I've bought a lot of burnt up cats. I really have. And used the blocks and the structures, lots of them, probably 10 over the last 14 years. And never had anything negative from doing it. Just send it to the machine shop, have them go through it like anything else.
So on this transmission, you said it burned up the seals. Would you be able to rebuild it, or?
Yeah, but I mean, if it's not an 18 speed and it's not heavier, it's probably worth more as a core than it is as rebuilt.
Gotcha. So I got another question. Me personally, I have 3 60 series Detroit's 12.7s, and one of them from oil change to oil change, it won't leak a drop, doesn't burn a drop. And this might, I'm just a truck driver. I've had these trucks for about 6-7 years. I mean, I try to do all my own work, right? But opening up the engine, I have no clue, right? So anyway, the other 2 12.7s I bought from a friend, and he got them.
I think.
And, they. Yeah, what?
We lost you there. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm from South Texas, the McAllen, Texas area, and my friend had these two 12.7s rebuilt before he installed them, and but the 2 that I have from him, I mean, from oil change to oil change, I'm putting about 2 to 3 gallons every. I change my oil about 12,000 miles, and I use mobile Delvac, and I mean, I'm putting about 2 to 3 gallons. I'm adding before the next oil change. I don't have any leaks. I mean, you can idle the truck there for 6 to 10 hours, and there'll be a little bit of oil coming out of the blow-by tube, but I mean, it ain't.
So first thing I would advise you to do is try a different oil. Mobile Delvac is excellent oil. But just kind of a little side note here. We advise people not to use mobile Delvac for the first 10,000 miles because we notice high oil consumption on mobile Delvac on brand new builds. And I believe, I mean, it's great oil. It tests out great, but I think it's so good. To be honest with you, I think it's so good. It's about as close to a good synthetic as you can get on a conventional oil. And we notice a lot of consumption. And you know, if guys will switch oil from Delvacs, it seems to help with their consumption problems. But with that kind of consumption, first thing I would do is switch to maybe like Rotella, see if that helps. But I'd also pull an oil sample on both. You can go to Under My Hood, check them out. And I use them because you can get it off of Amazon. Just, you know, it's really cheap. Do an oil sample on each one and see what that says for sure.
Cool. So when you say oil consumption, where is this oil going? Is it going into the combustion chamber and getting burnt out?
Under boost, it's probably going right out your blow-by tube when you're hauling ass down the road.
Gotcha. So, third question. If I wanted to go, I guess, would you consider a journeyman like me go work for you for free just to gain experience? I know it sounds like a crazy question, but
it's actually a question I get quite often. A guy came to the shop yesterday and
oh, really?
And, like, insisted he was going to work for me for free for a year. I would never let somebody do that. This literally happened yesterday, but I would never let somebody do that because everyone should value their time, and I would never let somebody work for me for free because everybody's time is valuable, and I believe that everyone should be compensated for their time. How much you compensate somebody for their time is based on their experience or their work ethic or a combination of the two.
Yeah,
but taking that factor out of it, you still should compensate everybody for their time. And I would, and like if you knew me and hung out with me, like, even if we're buddies, I won't let you do nothing for me without compensating you for it. It's just the way I am, you know.
Yeah, I would argue that compensation would be gaining experience. But I mean,
I understand
this was
that,
just a hypothetical. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's a hypothetical. I probably wouldn't go do it. I would love to do it if I had time, right? But that leads me to, have you ever thought about opening a school maybe? And also, where did you get your experience from? I mean, I know it's probably self-taught. Maybe
I had a truck.
Books and stuff.
I don't know. I had a truck blow up and I had to figure it out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm dead ass
All right.
serious.
Well, crazy. What motor was it that blew up?
My very first engine that blew up was a 6NZ. And my second one was a BXS.
And yeah. And I'm super interested in engine building. It's really, I just came across your channel about 2 months ago. It's amazing, bro. I mean, I said, I got 3 trucks.
On our TikTok, you can go to our series on our TikTok, and I have a series on there that's kind of what you're inquiring about, and it's like $250. I put a lot of time into it, and it's like 20.
Oh, wow.
20 segments that are like 20-minute long, and I take you step by step from the very beginning to the very end on how to rebuild a cat engine.
Wow, that's awesome.
Every detail.
Wow, that's freaking awesome. I personally don't have TikTok, and I don't even know. I've heard you can't download it anymore. So,
oh yeah, you can.
But I think my wife has it, so I can.
No,
you can?
Yeah, you can still download
Cool.
it. But I've never had somebody tell me that they watched that series and benefited from it, but it has sold hundreds of times. So there's hundreds of people. One of these days, I'm going to pull it off of there and put it on YouTube where it's accessible for free.
Yeah.
But finding the time to do it's something else. I'll probably just.
No, I definitely watch it.
But anyway, brother,
what engine?
Sorry, go ahead.
okay. What engine are you working on in that TikTok video?
That
Or
is
is it just a general?
it's a 6NZ, but I kind of explain, how all the ways that it crosses over to all of them.
Gotcha. All right, Aaron. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Bye. All right, guys, we're just going to keep ripping through. Actually, there was one comment, and the guy asked multiple times, asking me what I thought you could build a B Model 2. Guys build them to all sorts of horsepower. The most we will build a B Model 2, if it has the wide journals, is 600 horsepower. And that's as high as we'll go and still warranty it, right? If you didn't want me to warranty it, I'd probably go higher than that, but that's our limit. Logan. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Good, man. What can I do for you?
Hello. Hey, I've got a heavy haul company, and I've got a 16 W9. It's got an ISX 605, and we're getting right around the 500K mark. And I would love to yank the Cummins out and put. I got a Western Star with a C15 Cat, and of course, haven't had any issues out of it. But on a motor swap like that, is that something you guys do? A lot of motor swaps like that. Is that what are some of the things just to be? Is there anything to be cautious of doing something like that, or just any opinions on that?
So, what I tell people that people call all the time and just trying to see if we just have an engine because they just want to do a swap and get back to doing whatever they're doing. And I always tell people that it's almost without exception vastly more affordable to fix what you already have, right? But
correct.
We're planning on in the next 2 weeks releasing several different long blocks. We're going to see how it goes. I have all the blocks. We're having, in fact, right now downstairs, there's a crew of guys building me stands for doing long blocks. They're trying to finish them all up tonight. And we are going to pump out a bunch of long blocks. I'm trying to see around this curve of parts availability becoming non-existent. And so we basically spent every dime we had saved up for the last couple of years. We blew it all at once in the last couple of weeks, buying parts in advance to build. We have 6 engines that we're building right now that are our own. I just went out and bought a bunch of cores, and we went out and bought a whole pile of blocks, and we're building a bunch of long blocks because I wanted to get a bunch of these built before the pricing changed, and I barely made it because our pricing has went up so much in the last 2 weeks. It hurts my brain. The girls here are giving out quotes, and our price hasn't changed at all. And for like a quote for a CM 871 that was 17,000 for an in-frame head, counterbore, and all that is already climbed up almost $6,000, and it's slated to go up another $6,000 above that from what it was 2 weeks ago. It's absolutely insane, and I told everybody this was going to happen, but yeah, we're going to see how the long block thing goes. And if they're successful, I'm going to do a whole bunch more of them because we found a guy down in Corpus that's going to sell us just a mountain of blocks. So we'll see how it goes. And people have asked me for people have asked me for that forever, where they can just buy a long block from us and take all their shit off, throw it on there and throw it in the truck, and kind of reduce their downtime. So we're going to see how it goes. I opened up a whole new bay in the shop and all that. And this is the first time I've talked about it. So.
Okay. Well, and I know, I obviously, if I just got done in framing another one of my ISXs, and I just cost effective for sure, just for longevity and getting rid of the depth and, just that Cat I have now, man, and we haven't had any trouble. It's just mechanical and
you're talking about doing a repower. Oh man, repowers are so expensive. Yeah. So I get probably 10 phone calls a week for people wanting to inquire about doing a repower, and I talk 9.99% of those 10 calls a week out of doing it.
Yeah.
And if you follow
some guys around my area.
If you followed us for any length of time, you see we do them, right? But I talked 130 people out of doing it for every guy you see we're doing it for, because guys just have to understand what they're getting
Gotcha.
into. It's such a shit show. Your truck's down forever. It's not cost effective. It's not an affordable route to go. You know, I could rebuild your ISX here at my shop, even at the pricing today, probably 4 times or 5 times for the cost it would take to repower it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's what. Yeah, I've been given some numbers by some folks around here, and I mean, I just wanted to call in and just see what your opinion was. I mean, I kind of knew calling in that rebuilding what I got, you know, don't have to have the cat. Just getting rid of some of the other stuff sounds convenient. But
all right, brother, we got.
Anyways, brother, what I do?
I got to try to get to all these people. So, all right, man. Thank you.
I get it, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Bye. All right, man. I'm gonna try to get to all you guys. We'll see what happens here. We're kind of running out of time, but David, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, I'll keep it short and sweet. Fuel filter vacuum gauge. So I keep plopping filters. Does that have anything to do with my injectors?
Oh, it certainly can, especially on a cat. So we have special tools here for going down and rehoning below the injector cup down in the seat, because what will happen is combustion gas goes back up in there. And if your fuel's coming out black, is that what's going on? Is your fuel black in the filters?
Not really, no.
Okay, so if you're seeing black fuel, there's a cure for that. We have special hone tools to cure that problem, and that'll clog up your filters really bad. That's about the only thing I know that can do it, is if you're getting a lot of combustion gas into the fuel, getting returned to the tanks, and then coming back through your filters.
I have 6 cat injectors. I'm guessing they're reman. I'm very cautious of where I get fuel. I always get fuel for 0% bio from TAs and Petros, and I change 1, sometimes 2, 3 fuel filters a week, and it gets really expensive. I'm just trying to figure out what my next step is to figure it out.
Well, first thing you need to do is figure out if you have combustion gas in your fuel. If you're certain that you don't, which your fuel will be really dark, right? If your fuel's not really dark, then that's not the problem. You have something going, you have shit in your fuel tanks or something like that. Your injectors themselves can't be
That's brand new fuel tanks.
Okay, so your injectors themselves by themselves cannot cause that problem. It has to be the cylinder head is allowing combustion gas. You have a seat down there, you know, it's not part of the injector cup. Below the injector cup, you have a seat where the injector sits. And if combustion gas can come back up through there, it will dirty up your fuel really bad. And again, we have special tools to rehone all that out here. But you know, you'd have to find somebody that has.
Would I be better off going with an aftermarket fuel injector like?
I don't think so, because it's not an injector problem, most likely, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. You're saying?
I'm saying you're going to throw a bunch of money into injectors for no reason. Yeah, exactly. You're getting combustion gas in the fuel. You will actually force its way back up in there.
Appreciate your time.
All right, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, gonna rip through them. Dustin, 60 series. What can we do for you?
Yeah, man, from North Dakota here.
I'm sorry. I mean, all right.
Hey, I got a buddy here. That has a older International with a 60 series 12.7 Detroit. Had lack of power, so we changed injectors on it. And he thinks it's dropping a liner, and now it's blowing the charge pipe off of the intake. Any thoughts on that, man? I've been following you for years.
Blowing the charge pipe off the intake? Well, it wouldn't be doing that from having a drop liner.
It has lack of power every once in a while, but it's not all the time. I did electrical tests on it and everything. and everything seems to almost fine. So I'm kind of a little bit at a loss. He thinks it's dropping a liner. It smokes every now and then, like black diesel soot.
Yeah, it sounds like you have some kind of shit tune problem to me, to be honest with you.
Because it's a factory 500, but he did have a 50 horse tune put in it because I told him not to go over 50 horse.
Whoever did his tune probably doesn't know what they're doing.
Okay.
I mean, what you're describing sounds like a tuning problem. It's probably out of time and it's fueling wrong and fucking shit up.
Okay. And then I just, I want to keep it short and sweet for you because I've been following you for a long time.
Sure.
On the ISX 15, the Signature Series 600, what is the average mile on that when it's factory and never been touched?
The Signature?
Yeah, Signature 600.
Yeah, that one suffers from the same problem as all of them from drop liners. But it just left alone, they seem to, we tend to see somewhere between 7 and 8. They seem to go a lot farther than the ones after.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost always drop liner.
Well, I appreciate everything you do, and I've been following you forever. Actually, I was going to come work for you when I was out in Dickinson.
Well, lucky for you, I left. I'm just teasing.
No.
Right on, brother.
No, actually, I thought that would have been a better job than working the rigs.
Oh, well, probably. Man,
But
that's rough shit there.
But I appreciate that you put the time and effort in everything. I mean, like everybody's already said, I mean, nobody does that. And I'm grateful for everything that you say because I learned the same way you did. It blew up.
Yeah.
Learn how to fix it.
For sure. All right, brother.
Well, you have a good evening, man. I hope everything works out.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Brian. What can we do for you, brother?
Yeah. Hey, I have a situation I got going on with the MXS. It has a situation going on with the fuel. For some reason now it's spitting fuel out of my fuel tanks, like out of the overflow. I've replaced those check balls and all that stuff. But for some reason it's like spitting, splattering all over my frame. Can't figure it out. I've probably got quite a few guys out here that are cat guys.
Is that because the tank is over full?
Nope. I've tried. Sometimes I top it all the way off, and we were thinking that might have been an issue. So I just let it go until the nozzle kicks off. It does it even when it's down to quarter of a tank.
Right. So
I still get that spitting coming across the desert.
In both tanks or just one?
Yeah, the driver's side tank does it a lot worse than the passenger side tank does, but they both do it.
They're not breathing for some reason.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking about, but it's kind of weird. It's like all of a sudden in the last, probably say, month and a half, it started doing it. I've cleaned those breathers out. They seem to be clean and going through. What would be my next step?
I mean, that's the only thing that can make that problem happen is the breathers it's not breathing. One of them's not breathing.
Right. All right. Well, I can try and change that breather out and see if that's going to change it. I know there's no springs in it. There's nothing in there.
There's not, but it's literally the only way that can happen.
Yeah, that was a couple of guys out here. That's what they were talking about, and I'll give it a shot. I did buy the new breathers. My next question is the only other thing I have for you is the temperature sensor on the mirror. It says, like, if you look on the internet and stuff like that, it says that will affect if that's not working correctly. Does that do anything as far as changing anything?
No.
As the way your truck's running, it doesn't do shit. Just outside ambient air temperature, it just doesn't do nothing.
It's just a tell tech, just to let you know when you're in the danger zone because Like in Alaska, they're very
Yeah.
essential. Everybody has one and watches it all the time because if the scary zone is when you get up to about 20 degrees and above. That's when you need to like pucker up because it's getting dangerous. You want to see it either colder or quite a bit warmer than that. That's all it's for.
Right. Well, I'll get those. Cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. I'll get those things changed out and we'll give it a shot.
All
But
right,
there's
sir.
everybody agrees there's nothing inside that motor that's going to make anything
There's no way.
pressure up in that tank,
There's
right?
there's no way.
No way. All right.
All right, brother.
Cool. I appreciate you, man.
Yep. Good
Thanks,
luck.
bud.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Lucas. Hello.
What's going on, Aaron? So I know I've heard you say several times, I know I can't remember, but I'd want to say like 14, 15 years you've been turning wrenches without trucking.
No.
My question is, how do you?
I've only not been trucking since COVID, brother.
Oh, well, my bad.
No, you're
well.
good.
I have the same question. How do you and your employees keep from getting burnt out? From doing engine after engine after engine, since COVID.
Well, we've been. I just stopped running my own trucks in COVID and did engines full time, but we've been building engines for about 14 years. So you're on track. But how do we keep from getting burnt out? The one thing is I mandatorily tell everyone. So everybody here gets every other Saturday off, which is crazy because 90% of the guys don't take their Saturday off. And I yell at them about that because I don't want them to get burnt out. And then everybody here gets 1 or 2, depending on how long they've been here. They get a couple of weeks where I pay them to take a vacation and just get the hell out of here. But mainly it's just having an atmosphere that doesn't fucking suck, quite literally. We have fun and I treat everybody like family and these guys that come over to my house on the weekend, we play volleyball, swimming, involve their kids. I let all the guys here have sons that work in the shop on the weekends, and you just keep an environment that doesn't suck. It's not toxic here. That's why.
Well, that makes sense. Because, at my previous job that I had before I opened my shop, I just hated to go to bed the night before because you knew you had to get up to go to work the next day, and, since I've been here, but, I'm by myself, so if it's toxic, it's on me. But since I've been here, I love it. And then I still talk to all those guys and, just everybody hates it. I don't want to end up back in that situation in my own shop.
Yeah. Part of what I do just to make, one thing that, and of course, I'm not them, so I'm just projecting what I think is part of it is like, the kids that work here on the weekends, I take a break from work and take them up on the dirt mound and I throw clays for a couple hours while they shoot them with shotguns and just try and treat everybody like they're human beings. And I always take the time at least once a week or every other week to go around to every guy and ask him how he's doing. And what I'm, and I stress to him, I'm asking how they're doing as a human being. Not how are they doing at work,
right? Not just how their day's going,
right?
Correct.
I don't give a shit how their day's going. Just making sure that they don't need somebody to talk to about something, and just care about people in general. Honestly,
right?
That's
what I had.
There's guys that just turned 25 years of working for me. There's got to be a reason,
right? But yeah, that's all I had. And
I got a guy sitting here right beside me that's drove 1,000 miles just to hang out for 2 days because you worked for me many times in many capacities, and we are like we're best friends, right? So it's hard to work for a guy and be his friend at the same time. So. And it really comes down to just treating people like they're fucking human beings, and respecting their time. They're giving you, you're purchasing their time, and you just have to respect that.
Yeah. So I guess that goes along with how you know, everybody says you can't work with family or friends.
Yeah, you can.
You know,
You just gotta.
I guess that's how how you. Yep.
You just gotta not be a piece of shit. Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Right.
And I think the best way to do that is twofold. Number one is just be conscious that you're purchasing people's time. That goes a long ways. A lot of people don't understand that's what they're purchasing, and the people are giving you their time. And then number two, remembering that that they're giving that time of their free will. You know, they're not slave labor. They have the right to withdraw consent and leave. So, you know, there needs to be some incentive there of being treated like a human being.
Yeah. I've never, sorry, it keeps.
No, you're good.
Reverbing, but I've never hired anybody that wasn't a friend for the most part.
Yeah. That's true. Me too, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least they became friends shortly thereafter.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, brother, man, let me
Let's
we still got we
you're
still
good.
got 9
Yeah, you're
people
good.
in the queue. We got to run down them. I appreciate the call though. Thank you.
All right. No problem. See you.
Yep, bye. You know, I did a podcast a little while back where I was talking about you know, friendships revolve entirely around mutual gain. And so the best friendships, you know, I mean, who's your best friend? Your best friend is the person that benefited you the most. You know, so if you start to look at it from that perspective, all friendships are based on mutual gain, and so are all of your intimate relationships, you know?
All your what?
Intimate relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And once you start to realize that that's how human, you know, our selfishness is actually our biggest virtue. And the only reason we interact with each other in beneficial ways is to benefit ourselves. And if you start to look at selfishness as a virtue instead of as this terrible thing, it can actually help you in all of your relationships. Anyway, don't want to get too philosophical.
It's only 7.
Here.
I've got 2 hours. It's okay.
Dave, hello. Dave.
Hello, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You've been on hold for a
Hey,
while. We got you.
Thank you. Hey, so I have like 5 of these. I know you don't do too much with these pack cars, but I got 5 of them damn things. And the MX17s are good, but the MX13s, I have a major problem with the oil temperature. I've changed the oil thermostat. I've changed the oil cooler. I've done everything. When I'm on flat land, everything's good. But when I start to climb the hills, it just goes up there in the red, and then the check engine light comes on every single time. Do you have any idea what could be causing that?
Well, again, I don't know enough about them. I never operated them. You know, it's not so much that we haven't worked on them, and we've had quite a few in here recently that we've done in a row. But you know, that doesn't give me any real world experience with them where I'm like, oh, this, that, and the other, because I worked with them. But you know, it sounds, if it's if your problem's coming from elevation, I would look first at your barometric pressure and see what's involved with that, with the regulation of that.
Okay. Other people has told me recently where do I get my oil change done? And I just go to, you know, the big places to get the oil change done. And they told me to buy gallons off the shelf. Is there any rumor to that? Is that just someone talking, or been better quality oil or not?
I think that's all nonsense.
Bullshit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's all I was calling about. I was hoping to get some better news, but man, this thing, I just don't understand. I mean, other than that, I have no problems. It's just good. The oil temp gets so hot. I've already changed all that stuff that I told you, and I got the newest and greatest oil cooler.
I'm almost positive those things have an oil thermostat, and you might need to change that.
I already did that. I did that and the oil cooler, both.
I don't know then. And you know, and the other thing that could be cooking your oil is combustion gas. You might have it might be time for an overhaul, man. There's also that. Could be getting a lot of combustion gas down in there, and those things have a blow-by filter, and you could be combusting a hell of a lot more than you think, and not knowing it because it's putting it all back into the oil pan.
Well, actually, I got 600 on it, And when I bought it, it got rebuilt at like 470.
That don't mean nothing though. That
It
don't-
wasn't a
that-
crate motor, but
that don't mean it
really?
don't have broken
Okay.
rings or something. Come on now. It certainly could.
Okay.
If you can't keep your oil temperature under
Okay.
control and it's a mystery, that could certainly be
Well,
it.
not.
And you got
I turned the fan on. Oh, sorry, Aaron. Go
you
ahead.
got to remember, the problem's coming when you're climbing. You already stated that. Well, that's when you're at the max boost. That's when the most amount of combustion gas is going into the crankcase. So you probably have a broken
Okay.
ring or liner problem. I hate to say it, but
Wow.
it's sounding like it.
Definitely didn't want to hear that. All right. Well, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate your time, and thanks for what you do, man. This is really nice.
Yep. Have a good night, man.
All right. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye. All right. I don't know how to say your name, Mr. Bolton.
Yes, sir. Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. What can I do for you? How do you say your name?
Hey, I have Braylon Bolton.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I have a couple of 60 series 12.7, and one of them I had overhauled back in September. And sometimes like if I drive a short distance, like maybe had a load the other day, I maybe went, I don't know, maybe 10 miles, and I shut it off. And then I've been noticing that sometimes, like out my blow-by tube, it get maybe 5 or 6 ounces of coolant comes out of it after it's sitting there. Is it because I'm not, working the truck on the load, or driving far distance and then shutting it off? Is it getting like trapped up?
Define blow-by tube. Are we talking about the coolant blow-by, or are we talking about the crankcase blow-by tube?
Right off the top of the valve cover that goes straight down. That one in particular. That's where it's coming from.
You have coolant coming out of your crankcase blow-by tube.
Yes, sir.
And it was recently rebuilt.
Yes, sir. Back in September.
They ripped all the liner O-rings when they went in with the liners. Yeah, they need to pull it apart and fix it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. But it don't happen every single time. Just
you shouldn't
when I
it
drive a
sh-
short
that,
distance.
that should happen never times.
Oh, got you. Okay, so I need to take it back. It's still on the warranty. They gave me like a year warranty, so
Yeah, you
definitely
need
should take it back.
Yes, you need to take it back right away before it destroys the crank from coolant being in the crank.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes, sir. I will. I'll next time I go home, I'll take it up there.
Yes, sir.
Back to the shop. Okay, and my second question was, I'm having issues with the same truck with the alternators. I probably run maybe 4 alternators a year.
Probably a ground.
And
probably
I don't
grounding
change all the
problem.
batteries. Okay, I need to try to get that fixed as well.
Yeah, you might look to make sure you have a grounding strap going from the engine to the chassis. They get broken or they don't get put back on. Make sure that you have a grounding strap from the engine to the chassis. It's probably what's burning it up.
Okay, yes, sir. But definitely the coolant should not be coming out that blow-by tube.
No, it should not.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'll take it up there, and thank you for all that you do.
All right, sir. Good luck.
All right. Yes, sir.
Bye.
All right.
All right, Clint. Hello.
What's going on, brother?
Oh, just getting tired. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, it's been a long night. I appreciate your phone call. I appreciate what you do. I got a Kenworth with a C15 A-cert in it. It's been running great. I run heavy haul, not a whole lot, just every once in a while from Alabama to North Carolina and back for the mining company I work for. And the other day I ran a Dozier up to Montgomery from Selma. It's only about maybe 45 minutes. And it was running great. Pulled over on the side of the road and sat for a minute because I was waiting for one of the guys I work with to take his truck down to the shop and drop it off. And I was just waiting for him to get done so I could come pick him up.
and all of a sudden it just lost all power. And you could hear it whining, but it was like the turbo wasn't spooling up like it was supposed to. So we linked it on back to the shop and everything, and I got to looking at it, and every time you hit the throttle and throttle down, it's actually collapsing all 4 boots on both sides of the engine on the air-to-air.
Mm-hmm. So the first
turbo
question,
isn't spooling up at all.
Yep. So the first question is it still have the factory exhaust system on it?
Probably. It's a 05 Kenworth. I haven't been running it long. I've only been with this company for a year.
Yeah, but
he just had me
the only
doing
thing
his heavy haul.
matters is if it has the factory exhaust on it still. If the exhaust is still
Honestly, I don't know.
Take a guess. Are you guessing yes? I mean, does it have straight?
Yeah, probably. More than likely. This guy's cheap on everything.
Does it have straight pipes?
Yes, sir. No, it doesn't. We changed the pipes on it. But it looks like it's still got everything factory on it.
Okay, so if it still has the factory
It's
exhaust,
an 05 model.
If it has the exhaust mufflers, that's the problem. You got to get rid of them.
The exhaust mufflers?
Yep, they're catalytic converters and they're plugged. That's the problem.
That's the problem?
Yep, get rid of them.
I tore down everything to the turbos, and the top, it's got a twin turbo system on it. The top turbo, it's loose as all get out. You can sit there and just shake it. You can see the wear marks on it where the fin's been hitting the housing and everything like that.
Yeah, but if it
and the bottom turbo's got play in it too. I thought it might have been the turbos that gone out.
Nah.
But it ain't producing smoke. There's no oil, no nothing.
Yeah, somebody just said on YouTube it's like a banana in the tailpipe. It's exactly what it is. The stacks, right where they go up the side of the truck, that's where those are. They're on either side. You take them off, and, and you can get a spark arrestor to do a direct replacement, so you don't got to modify everything. And the spark arrestor is like $180 or something, and just put it right in there. And
okay.
Your
all right, 10-4, man. I've been trying to figure this out because it just happened all of a sudden, and it just didn't make no sense because this truck normally runs great.
That's the problem. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
10-4. So the stacks are just clogged up.
Yep.
Or the catalytic converter.
Yep. Get rid of them.
All right. 10-4. Will do. Hey, I thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do, and I love watching your stuff, man. You have a good night.
Yep. You too. Bye. All right. You're on the air, Brett, I think.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You there?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, okay, I got a MK Series 60 Detroit. That's a prefix on an MK. Just wondering if you kind of got a ballpark on what a outer frame would be.
Well, I try to avoid letting this show become a sales pitch. It just kind of like rubs me the wrong way for some reason. But if you go on our Facebook, our very top pinned post is our phone number. If you call tomorrow, and the girls will talk to you and then get you on the phone with me, and I can we don't do anything.
Okay.
We don't do anything with anybody without giving everybody that comes here has gotten a comprehensive quote up front. We want people to know what they're getting into before they ever come here, and we try and give everything back for what we quoted in the beginning. That's kind of our claim to fame. So we can answer that question down to, within $1,000 for sure. But I'd want you to call. I don't want to do it on here. It just seems lame.
Yes, sir.
Lame to turn this into a sales pitch.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, brother, man. Yeah, give us a call tomorrow. I'll talk to you then.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Paul, you're on the air, brother. Hello. Hello, brother man. Paul Purdue. Call for 2.3 torque and 127 to get rid of an oil leak. Brother man, we can hear you. Talk to me. Paul Purdue from Salisbury.
I think he fell asleep.
I think he did fall asleep. Holy shit, we can hear him. Oh, he is asleep. That's fucking awesome. Oh my God, he's snoring. You guys hear that shit? That's fucking cool as shit. Paul, wake up, buddy. Come on now. You waited on hold for 57 minutes. I'm going to return him to the queue. We'll come back and check on him in a minute, see if he's still sleeping. That's funnier than shit.
Your show is so entertaining.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could
damn,
fall
right?
asleep.
How do you fall asleep? Hello. Oh, no, this is the same guy. I went back to him. Paul, you there? All right, let's return him to the queue again. Here we go. That's fucking hilarious. He fell asleep during the show. God damn. Hello. Hello. Are you asleep too, brother?
Hello.
Hey. It sounds like you're awake. What can we do for you? God, that was funny as shit. You're on the air, brother.
Who you talking to?
You, man. What can we do for you?
Oh man, okay. I'm calling to see. I just heard you. I was listening to what the guy was asleep.
Yeah.
This is MC Green from Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you?
I think you might have answered my question. I got an 04 IS6 that I just had completely rebuilt. Head done, block done, everything. And I got water coming out of my blow by also. And the truck is drinking about 2 gallons of water every 100 or so miles.
Oh, they ripped the O-rings when they were going back together.
So I need to go back in there and redo it all.
Yep. They need to. They need to warranty it. You bet. You and that other guy. Whatever shop did that.
It's on the warranty. I've taken this truck back 6 times already.
But still,
they took the head.
They need to fix it. The O-rings are ripped.
The O-rings are ripped. So do they need to redo the block again?
No.
Or just replace the O-rings and liners?
Yeah, when they were going back together, they ripped them. Either that, or they went back together with petroleum, which is one of the most common things I see guys do on ISXs. They put petroleum on the O-rings, and it fucking just destroys them. You got to use vegetable oil or something like that.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep. Have a good night, brother. Good luck.
You too. Bye.
Man, that's too bad. 2 guys in a row. Let's go back to our sleeping buddy. Sleepy. Hello. Paul. Are we awake? Oh, no. He's still sawing logs, brother. That shit's funny. Okay, I'm going to return him to the queue again. I want to go back again in a minute, see if he's still sleeping. Hello. Hello. Yes, sir. You're on the air. What can I do for you?
Hi. Yes, sir. Hey, I've got a question. I probably took on something I shouldn't have. It is a mechanical N14 that they have deleted the STC off of, put NT88 rocker boxes on it. This truck has been overhauled 3 times trying to get it to quit smoking. I got it in the shop, run the overhead like I was taught on those things, 2 flats, got most of it out. It still hazes a little bit. Without tearing the front cover off, figuring out the part number of the cam, would there be anything else to try to get that out of it?
Well,
with buttons in the pump or anything like that?
Has somebody went over into the top of it with the overhead timing tool and timed it correctly to see if it's even in time?
You talking jig timing? No. No. It ain't nowhere to that. We've had shade tree. There has been 3 shade trees overhaul this motor trying to get the smoke out of it.
You gotta have.
I don't have a.
You gotta have that tool, man, to see if it's in time. You have to. Yeah, I mean, the keys are all different. You know, that thing probably had an offset key. When you guys changed it, you probably needed to put an offset key, and you don't even know if you're not putting that tool in the top.
Gotcha.
You gotta go to somebody.
I just told the guy.
You gotta go to somebody that has that tool, or you're just wasting your time.
Gotcha. Well, it's kind of our area. There's nobody. I've got most of it out, but I don't think it's right. And I've told the guy from the word go that ain't mine, but that I shouldn't be working on it anyway.
No, you probably needed an offset key. That'd be my pocket guess. But there's no way to know without putting the tool in the top and checking the timing.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of where I figured would be at. I don't know what's been done through this whole ordeal, but anyway. Well, all right, man. Well, I'll let you get to your next feller there.
All right, brother. Have a good
All
night.
right, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, that feller's got to find somebody with the tool.
What?
Oh, there's a special tool you put in the N14s, and if you don't have it, there's no way you can even know if you're in time or not. Should we check on Sleepy again? Take another call. Let's check on.
Or just, I think when we go, just leave it on, and then he'll, whenever he comes to, he'll ask.
Well, let's check out a boy. Hello, Sleepy. Paul.
Hey, that must be me.
Yeah, Sleepy Paul.
Hello.
Hey, man, you fell asleep, brother.
I sure sleep on hold.
That's funnier than shit.
Hey, I've got a 12.7 DDEC 4, and I got an oil leak at between the head and the block right up at the front.
Yep.
And as soon as she warms up, it quits. Which she loses a little bit of oil, not a lot.
It's not the head; it's the cam. It's the cam pass through. They're notorious for leaking there, and it leaks down, and it looks like it's the head leaking, but it's actually the cam seal. Bet you $100. Man, it's not too difficult to fix that.
Okay. Well, that's a new one to me. Because my question was going to be, I had read some forums where people had retorqued the head and it went away. But you're saying I don't have a head. My head problem's not in the head gasket, it's in a pass through.
Yep.
The cam.
Yep. Right in the front. And and guys will swear the head's leaking, but it's not. I could pretty much, without you telling me anything else, I can pretty much guarantee you that's where it's leaking. Which is good news, not bad news.
Yeah. So we're talking about where the timing box bolts to the front.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that is good news because she's got 1.2 on her, and if I had to pull ahead, I was going to go further probably.
I mean, it's obviously there. It could possibly be the head, but it's highly unlikely.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
All right, brother. Well,
that was my question, and I appreciate everything you do for us.
Yep.
And you put me right to sleep tonight. What can I say?
Yeah. Sorry about waking you up, brother.
Oh, that's all right.
Have a good night.
Yeah, enjoy your show. Enjoy all your videos. Take care.
Bye. At least the parts you're awake for, anyway. All right, we'll take a couple more here. Kevin, what can we do for you, brother?
Yo, what's going on, brother? Appreciate your time, man. I got a DD15 with 680 on it. It's a 17. And so I'm kind of trying to make my decision of what to do with this truck. I feel like within the last 2 weeks, I've been getting some after treatment codes and just stumbling through those, keeping it going. So I'm at the point where it's like, diet, put money into it, and then push this thing, over $1 million, hopefully, invest into it to keep it going. Or do you think it's just something that I should just step away from? And maybe my other thought is grab something a little bit newer with some warranty on it, maybe $200,000-300,000 on it and quote unquote cover my ass for a bit with some warranty for a couple years and just bite a new
the problem,
a new payment.
The problem with that is you're getting yourself into a payment, right? Go a little Dave Ramsey on your ass, you know.
Yeah.
Now is not the time to be doing that. Trucking is gonna suffer a bloodbath over the next 6 months. And I wouldn't advise anybody, you know, warranty or not, going into debt. The other thing is your factory warranties like that. You know, you end up in these downtime situations that are almost worse than not having a warranty. You know, I'm not trying to bash or knock anything. I'm just trying to give you some real world advice here. You know,
no, right.
You know, you have options on that DD15 like Worldwide. I use them. Even, you know, we had that fiasco happen to the DD15 a while back, and we did rebuild some after that, and we're fully capable of doing it. We're confident in doing it, but I can buy a long block plus from Worldwide and go that route. That's what we do for everybody now. For more cost effective, then I can rebuild it for myself. So, you know, 2 years ago, before I knew Worldwide, I would have told you try to sell it to somebody, but you know, those guys are great. And in that scenario, you know what you have, right? You don't have to worry about what you're buying. Right. You know what you have already. And it's almost without exception, it's almost always more cost effective to fix what you have than to buy a new problem.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it all, like, besides the box giving me problems with little things here and there, and I'm trying to, you know, sort through them. Like, I put new filters on it, would be within just about 2 years ago. And so, you know, I'm out with $4K there for a new set of filters on it. And now we're back to the same problem. Yep. And it's like,
usually,
you know, do I want to keep playing this game every 2 years, or just
usually if you're having repeat after treatment issues, it's time to clean the EGR and the intake and all that.
Yeah.
Take that stuff off, get it all clean, put it back on, and you'll probably kind of reset the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Other thing I'm worried is that.
Go ahead.
All right. No, you're fine. It boils down to that. It basically just stuff that's clogged up. But I feel like I'm not sure if the box might be too far gone. If it was pretty badly plugged from the first time it blew holes 2 years ago, and I put new filters, and we're back to the same problem. Could it be too?
I mean, of course, anything could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But probably not.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate the insight. I'll let you keep it going.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Bye. See this right here?
Yeah.
That's how much we're getting charged for every minute.
Per minute?
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that's the bill. It's actually kind of expensive to do this show.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Okay, we're not going to take any more calls. We have 4 people. I wasn't even going to take these people, but they're already here. And this has been a lot of fun, even though I'm really tired. So don't call in, but we'll take these last 4 and call it a night. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, how are you? I appreciate you taking the call. I've got an ISX 15 2350. I just did a complete rebuild on. And I've got a diesel injector knock, overfueling knock at when I torque the engine, and I can't figure it out. I've replaced the fuel pump. Let's see.
What kind of engine?
Cummins ISX 15 2350 series. It's a 2016 model. And when I step on it, I'm getting that overfueling, so I get the overfuel and diesel knock.
So it's giving you a code?
No code. I took it into the shop. They tried to do the injector test, and it keeps failing at 3. The rail pressure's gone up to about 3,100, 3,120 something, and then it kicks the test out.
Kicks the test
It's
out.
got-
Okay.
Mhm.
Usually if you're kicking the test out, you have it's not even able to finish you have a bad injector. If it's kicking the test out, one's so bad it can't even do the entire test.
Yeah, and I had I took all the injectors out and had them all tested. 2 of them were bad. I replaced them and put everything back in, and it's still the same problem. And that's when they've done the test, and so afterwards.
Then they didn't catch them all.
Okay. They did say that the rail pressure is when it's calling for 30,000 PSI on that test, it's going up to about 3,125.
Okay.
So
I mean, this is advice I'd never give anybody, but you might be better off just changing all the injectors. You might save money in the end.
Okay. All right. Just wondered if maybe it was a rail pressure sensor or something.
I mean,
you said
not without
it's
a
got
code.
two readings. One of them. Okay.
You got to remember,
Okay.
if you're having injector problems and it's not throwing a code, you have a mechanical problem that the computer can't pick up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's not throwing a code for sure.
I mean, you're probably going to spend more money chasing your ass than dropping injectors in all the holes.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Well, that's I think that helps. I sure appreciate you guys' time. Thank you very much.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, Brian, you're on the air, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, yeah, man. I had messaged you on one of the live videos you did a couple weeks ago when you didn't have the call-in available.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 2006 NZ. I'm replacing the thermostats on your recommendation because I couldn't get it over like 160 without blocking the radiator off.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. I've got it all pulled apart, but that thermostat housing's pretty fairly pitted, and I was curious, how bad is bad enough to replace? Because there's no holes.
I don't
know,
but
it's
man.
a 25-year-old thermostat housing.
I'd really have to look at it, but they are pretty spendy. Just to let you know, they're about $400 a side, so you're about $800 and something into the whole thing.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I mean, I'd have to.
Is it a bad idea to just go back with the gasket and a little bit of silicone around the outside just to be 100% sure?
I mean, I don't do shit like that, but I would certainly hillbilly your shit like that if I owned it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it hasn't been leaking before.
Kind of,
but I know once you pull them apart, they're never the same.
So my rule of thumb is I refuse to use silicone on anything. If I have to use silicone, then I replace it. I mean, obviously there's going to be some times in my life here at this shop where we will use silicone in limited application, but it's you don't want silicone on shit. You just don't.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's not my first go-to, but it's kind of like the same deal, trying to get it back together.
Yep.
Not cheap, but also economically minded.
You can also, you don't have to buy the whole thing. You can buy the halves. So if one half's just really fucked up and the other half's decent, just buy the half.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem I'm running into. This is my first time doing it, so I don't even know what's really fucked up. It might just be normal.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, you just need to look really close at the sealing surfaces. If all the mating surfaces are fine and you're just pitted out everywhere else, don't worry about it. Send it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You have to pull it off because the fucking thing leaks and start over. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So.
No, for sure. I just it's just my first cat, so I'm having to learn a lot of this shit over again.
No,
So.
I'm still learning shit too, dude.
All right.
It ain't no thing. Have a good night, man.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. Bye. All right, 2 more, and we're gonna call her a night. Larry Wallace, you're on the air.
Hey, brother, thanks for taking my call. I got a 2013 DD13, and a code popped up today, SPN 639J1939, and then it says #1 primary vehicle network FMI9 abnormal update rate count 2. What could that potentially be?
I'm sorry. I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, I just don't. I mean, maybe. I mean, I seriously doubt even the worldwide guys will know the answer to that. But off the top of their heads, I don't know.
Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen anything like anything close to that? Because I Googled something and it said something about a CPC or something.
Right.
Potentially.
I mean, you need to get somewhere where someone can hook up to it with a computer, because like if you had it here, for example, I have the programming, I can hook up to it, right? And the program is going to tell me what to do, right? You would, on these newer engines, there's so much shit going on that you have to have software to help you out. No mechanic is that good, right? You have to rely on the software. What did you say it was telling you again? Tell me one more time what it was telling you.
It was saying up abnormal update rate count 2. And it says the #1 primary vehicle network. It's not throwing a check engine light in the inside the cabin, but I have computers hooked up to all my trucks that come directly to my phone. They tell me if something goes on in the ECM, and it popped up on my phone. But I asked the driver,
okay,
did he have a check? I called him and asked, did he have a check light in his truck? He said no check light in the truck, but it came on my phone.
Okay, so several people in the comments section are saying that the J1939, which is your data link, your CPC is junk on those trucks. The ECM corrosion, they had a service bulletin on it. Yeah, it sounds like a bus code. Yeah, that's truck side. Sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah, you have an ECU problem, not an engine ECM problem. So you got some wiring shit going on there, brother. Ain't no one in my shop can help you out with that one. That's above our pay grade there. So you're probably gonna have to go to a dealer.
I got you.
You know, in circumstances like this, I hate to say it, that your dealers usually are the most cost-effective thing, because they have the kind of diagnostic software to be able to narrow down problems like this much faster and more efficiently than small shops can. And even though they charge a lot more, in the end, you save money.
I got you. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
yeah,
guys are saying that it's definitely your J1939 main data link. You're having data link problems, which I have dealt with data link problems on my own trucks before, and I'll just say good luck, brother, man.
Is it common to not have a check engine light inside the cab?
Yes,
in the dash?
Because it's not related to your engine.
Okay.
So to speak, right? Anyway, you need to take it somewhere to a dealership. They'll be able to. You will be money ahead in this limited scenario. Far be it for me to ever suggest anybody go to a dealership, but in this scenario, probably.
Yeah, one of the rare moments, huh?
I had a Peterbilt that was having data link problems, and I finally gave up and took it to a dealership, and I should have done it 6 months sooner, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
They figured
I
it
feel
out.
that. Yeah.
And there was like a 3-hour charge, and they figured it out, and I had to buy some shit, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. I appreciate you cracking at it. Keep doing what you do, brother. We watch you faithfully.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, and thank you.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right, last caller. Brandon, what can we do for you, brother?
Hey, we rebuild motors here. We just got into it at the beginning of this year, and we've actually started our own shop up, me and a couple mechanics. But we had a C15 that we rebuilt, and we're working on our disclaimers and all that stuff. And we had a C15 we did a platinum overhaul on, and we just had it come in yesterday, and she's got a very high temp code of 237 degrees for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Would that be something that you would consider would blow the head gasket on that? Because it's blowing coolant out the freaking reservoir like crazy.
And it ruined the head too.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we thought. That's what we were thinking. Like the head's probably cracked too.
So I'll give you some pointers here from a guy that's owned a shop for a long time. First of all, no shop on planet Earth warranties that. Okay. Because overheats are out of control of the shop, right? If you want to have a shop, if you want to have a shop that everybody wants to come to, the rule of thumb is pretty simple. Honor the fucking stuff that is obviously your fault. Don't find reasons to not honor those things. But it doesn't mean you have to get trampled on.
Exactly.
Do you think that we don't have a laundry list of denied warranties? Of course we do. But we're famous for honoring our warranty because we do. And I don't care how much how much it hurts me, I always honor it. But here's the thing, man. If you're not using heat tabs, start. Go on Amazon, make sure you get the green ones and start putting heat tabs on your cylinder heads on the freeze plugs, and put heat tabs between number 5 and between number 5 and number 6 cylinder on the outside of the engine.
Okay.
If they're ever melted.
Definitely. No, I greatly appreciate that.
That's number one. And the thing is usually when somebody comes here and they've had something like that. So like we just had an N4 or a 444. I rebuilt the entire engine. The guy spent a ton of money here, and he made it a couple thousand miles, lost the accessory drive, and burnt the engine to the ground. He brought it back, told me that he lost the accessory drive. He had it fixed somewhere else, but he brought it back and it was pushing coolant everywhere. And because he was just, there's no computer on that. But because he was honest with me, I actually, I did all the labor for free, and he bought 3 new heads, and I did all the labor for free. He left here and made it like 200 miles and lost a coolant line, a heater line, and burnt the entire fucking thing to the ground again. Immediately told me what had happened, and I got a donor engine and we fixed it again for him. So it and I could have told that guy to fuck off every single time, right? But I just try to take everything on a case by case basis, but and you try and help people out as much as you can, but you have to have a line that you draw that says, there's force majeure, of course, and then there's you're a jackass and burn your shit to the ground. Neither of those things are you obligated to warranty, so you have to decide to warranty things based on, what do you want your image to be,
No, and that's where go ahead.
Usually I try to work with people where it's obviously not something we're going to warranty. Be like, okay, well, let's work something out here where, we just figure something out with them where it's not nearly the cost as if they were first, bringing it to us the first time. That's usually the best way to approach it. Okay, you fucked your shit up, but let's work together and see if we can do whatever we need to do, cut your shop rate down to like whatever you're paying your guy to do it, or, yourself or whatever, and have him get the head gasket in the head or something. And that's the best way to approach it. So he's damaged the least amount of possible, and you're not paying for his fuck up. So.
Right. Yeah. And we actually warranted, this is a really bonneted truck on this one. And, throwing those heads back in there is a pain with those cooling jackets. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up folding a cooling jacket right out took it out. We folded the cooling jacket, tore it all back apart, put a brand new head gasket in it, brand new spacer plate, all that, sent it out the door.
And you guys should have paid for all that.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yep.
We paid for all that. And that's our fault.
Yep, and that's how it works.
So we sent it out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we ran it. I think he's got 40,000 miles on it now, and he brought it back, and it's got a heat coat on it, and it's like, at this point, I didn't know. I from what I could read, and there's not really a temp gauge. Even Cat couldn't tell me what a temp, how hot. He's like, there's not really. How hot is it? It just says very hot,
Well, the thing is that the ECM quits reading anyway because there's no coolant for it to read. So if you have a critical event, you have a critical event. It doesn't matter how hot it says it was. But what matters is your snapshot of when that critical event happened, right? That's what you need to verify.
Right.
That would be like the only question in the air is when did it actually happen? If it happened, sometime in this last 40,000 miles, which it obviously did, or he wouldn't have made it 40,000 miles. He would have been back.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it happened Friday.
Right. So
yeah, he called me up and told me, and it got hot, and so
okay. So he told you, right? So did he lose a coolant line or what happened? It didn't independently get hot.
Yeah, he was pressure washing the truck, and he always pressure washed it from the front. And when he brought it in, the whole back of the radiator is completely caked in mud, like from him pressure washing. And we said, you got to pressure wash the backside of that radiator as well. So it made a wall there from when last time he left the pressure washer after pressure washing the front of his truck, and just made a complete mud wall on the back of that radiator. Is what we blew it all out and everything, and just tons and tons of dust and mud.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, right? And it is what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
But
I was thinking, it's just not.
You got to do whatever you want to do, but if it was at my shop, I would probably just figure out some way to make sure he got out of my shop for the least harm possible for everybody involved. That's just the best thing you can do,
Okay. That's kind of where I was leaning towards. I just figured I was more or less calling you just to see on the temp side of things, and what's
it's smoke.
What is it?
The head
on the temp side.
I wouldn't try to change the fucking head gasket. Don't waste your time. The head gasket and the head. Guarantee that head's smoked.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, no, that's what. Thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate you.
Yep. Have a good night, man, and good luck.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that's it. Wow. We almost went 3 fucking hours, but Sleepy Joe cost us about 30 minutes. So. Yeah. I don't know how he became Sleepy Joe.
At least he woke up.
Yeah, he did. Anyway, Rob, appreciate you hanging out with me.
Yeah, cool show. I like it.
I had a hard time hanging in here on this, and I was really tired. But I appreciate everybody participating. Like always, we always have about 100 people on TikTok, despite the fact that you can't hear the caller. Never really understand that. But we do this every Wednesday night from 7 to 9, apparently 7 to 10 sometimes, Central Time. So if you didn't get to ask me a question, you want to do it next week, you know how to find us. Again, guys, appreciate you. Thanks for participating. I do like this new way we're doing it, where we use the feed here to add in the commentary from the people participating. I do enjoy that. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and for helping me answer questions. I do not think that I know everything by any stretch of the imagination, so all the help in the comments is more than welcome. So, again, guys, love you long time. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. See you next week. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Yeah.